Yeah, horrible game, but we have some actual fantasy implications from it that we are going to have to talk about. First thing being, you're already seeing people in the live chat going, I'm dropping Romeo Doubs. Thank you, Jacoby Myers. And yeah, this was supposed to be the first game that we got with a fully healthy Christian Watson. So we got to actually see what it looked like if you were going to be having Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Luke Musgrave, and possibly Aaron Jones in this game. Now, Aaron Jones didn't play, which is frustrating. It does take away what we are going to see with the overall target volume in this offense. But still, nonetheless, I mean, we did have Christian Watson fully in. And with Christian Watson in, I was expecting Jordan Love to take that step up. I was like, oh, okay. Well, Jordan Love looks decent at the beginning of the year. I guess that means when you add in the best receiver into this offense, a.k.a. Christian Watson, and you're not having to rely on these guys like Romeo Doubs or Jaden Reed anymore, I guess maybe Jordan Love gets better. I guess maybe Jordan Love is a quarterback that can have some upside. Oh, no. Okay. Yes. Jordan Love is not that guy. Jordan Love, 30 passing attempts, 182 passing yards, and 3 interceptions. Now, keep in mind, a couple of these interceptions were fake interceptions. Like, you had the Hail Mary at the end of the game. I don't even know if you want to call it Hail Mary. You had to take a shot to the end, so I'm not going to really fault him too much for that one. I mean, you at least gave Christian Watson somewhat of a chance. The defense back had to miss it, but then Watson could have had it. There was another, tip ball, blah, blah, blah. But nonetheless, Jordan Love looked very bad. They were unable to move the ball down the field. The majority of this yardage came on one big play to Christian Watson, a 77-yard, what I was hoping to be touchdown reception, but he did get tackled, at the 5-yard line. So, going forward, I think we can safely say this is a very bad Green Bay Packers offense. Anybody coming out here and saying otherwise is lying to themselves, is lying to you. I think everybody can see that it's bad. Now, going over to Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones was a running back that I started the 2 prior games that we had A.J. Dillon was the running back I started the 2 prior games we had no Aaron Jones in. And in those games, A.J. Dillon gave us a big old goose egg. A.J. Dillon did legitimately absolutely nothing. Of course, the one time I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, no, A.J. Dillon's not playable. Sit A.J. Dillon unless it's like an emergency. A.J. Dillon, 20 carries, 76 rushing yards, and the rushing touchdown. I mean, in terms of his receiving usage, you don't really have anything here. He has 1 target for 0 receptions. Not a big deal at the end of the day. Romeo Doubs has 4 targets, gives you absolutely nothing. It's Christian Watson's job. I mean, Jaden Reed, not really involved either. Jaden Reed only has 2 targets. The one thing that I will point out, and this is the main thing that I was wrong on with Green Bay, is I thought Christian Watson coming back in was going to impact the target share that you saw from Luke Musgrave. But if you're looking at what we have with Luke Musgrave in this overall offense for the Packers, they are so horizontal where they're not able to move the ball down the field, where what you're going to get is in a full BBR format, at least what we saw this week, was a ton of just checkdowns to Luke Musgrave. Like, if you can't have a real play, throw a tight end screen and see if you can figure it out. See if you can break a tackle and pick up 6 yards. So you had 7 targets from Luke Musgrave, actually led the team in targets, had 6 receptions, 34 receiving yards. If this offense is this bad, I don't really expect Luke Musgrave to have an incredibly high ceiling by any means, but I do expect him to be at least somewhat viable under the circumstance that you're playing in a full PPR league. Now, going over to what we have with the Raiders side of things. Jimmy G did not look that much better. Jimmy Garoppolo did not look good in this game. You had 31 passing attempts, 208 passing yards, a passing touchdown, and an interception. You had Jacoby Myers dominating the target share in this offense. Jacoby Myers seeing the 10 targets, 7 receptions, 75 receiving yards, and the receiving touchdown. Keep in mind, Davante Adams was not healthy. Going forward, do I expect Jacoby Myers to be the wide receiver 1 here? Of course not. It will be Davante Adams. Adams, what we've historically seen is he is going to get back to his 30% team target share. I honestly don't expect us to change our rankings in any way with what we saw from Myers versus what we saw from Adams. We had Adams as a wide receiver 1 going into this week. We had Jacoby Myers as that low end wide receiver 2, high end wide receiver 3. Maybe you say, no, Jacoby Myers definitely a low end wide receiver 2, not a high end wide receiver 3. I don't think we're changing it much more than that. And honestly, I don't think we're changing much in what we saw with Josh Jacobs either. I mean, if you're looking at Jacobs, he gave you 20 carries. He's a bell cow back. We've already talked about this over and over again. I mean, Jacobs was that buy low guy for us a couple weeks back. I mean, we said it maybe over and over and over again. You had the workload, you had the snaps, you have a workhorse back that may not be super efficient, but just off the raw amount of touches, he has to be someone you're starting every single week and someone you're buying low on when he has a dud game. Jacobs, yet again, 5 receptions, 20 receiving yards. He was leading the NFL in receiving coming into the week at the running back position. He gives you the 20 carries and 69 rushing yards as well with a rushing touchdown. So you do get a pretty good game from Josh Jacobs, but ultimately going forward, do we change where we have him in our rankings? Does he go from being a mid RB1 to now a high end RB1? Does he go from being a mid RB1 to a low? No. Josh Jacobs, everything pretty much stays the same here. I don't really think that there are too many changes that we have for the Raiders. We just really have to understand the Packers are not good. Dobbs, Reed are not startable. You actually have Luke Musgrave as a viable option in a full PPR format. And yeah, maybe Christian Watson is not as exciting as we initially thought, just given the fact that this is a very, very bad offense. But can everybody spam the chat real quick? What is your record after this game? I know a lot of us played multiple leagues, but the main league you care about, what is your record and what are you looking at? Ted Solo dropping happy birthday, Mason. Thank you. Technically, it is my birthday in about an hour and a half. No, not my birthday yet, but in an hour and a half, we will be celebrating, so it will be exciting. But we got Gabriel joining the flock. Happy to have you, my man. 3-2, 2-3, 5-0, 4-1, 3-2, 4-1, 4-1, 4-1, 5-0, 3-2, 5-0, 3-2, 3-2, 0-5. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, my man. It looks like the majority of us are out here winning games, which you do love to see. Love to see it. And hopefully Christian Watson can get a little bit better going forward, ladies and gentlemen. But let me go ahead and pull up these donations that we have. Just give me 1 second and we're going to be answering as many questions as we possibly can. And as I pull this up, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not done so already, please go down there, drop a like on this live stream. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. I mean, we've live streamed every single day for 164 days in a row. We're not going to be missing a single day until 2024. So please make sure you are taking advantage. And if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to be getting a 100% deposit match up to $500. Plus, you're going to be getting our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be getting a Patrick Mahomes special pick of more than less than half a total yard. If you are new to Underdog Fantasy for Thursday night, and it doesn't matter if you are new to Underdog Fantasy, it doesn't matter if you've been on Underdog Fantasy for 2-3 years, as long as you used promo code FLOCK, you are also going to be getting a Justin Herbert special pick'em this week as well. It's for our birthday. Underdog's hooking everybody up, so make sure you take advantage. Also, the best birthday present you can give me, signing up for Underdog with promo code FLOCK, ladies and gentlemen. But I think that should be about it. I've been trying my best to find our first question here, and I think this first one is going to be coming out from for the love of God, hopefully I got this right. Oh, these are big. Got to move this around. Okay. Okay, I think Gingerbread Man says, let me know if I should trade or hold. It's a 12-team at PPR double flex. We have Stroud, Adams, Chase, Jacobs, Saquon, Jonnu, Godwin, and DJ in the flex. My bench is Zach, Kelly, Boyd, and Palmer. I mean, if we were going through and making a trade, I would like to go ahead and upgrade quarterback if we can from CJ Stroud. We don't really have too many options that we can look to package with him, considering the fact that this is a double flex league. I'd also like a better tight end if possible, but ultimately, I don't necessarily think that a trade makes sense. I think more so what you're probably going to be looking to do is just roster a backup quarterback and a backup tight end and kind of play it based off matchups going forward. Okay. Now, Timothy says, hey, King, I'm in a 12-team full BBR format. I'm 5-0. Congrats, my man. I have Allen, Hill, Thielen, Kamara, Barkley, Ingram, Olave, McLaurin, Jaleel, Warren, Jameson, Jefferson Jr. Thanks to you, I got Kamara for Tua and Ayuk. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Don't know if we love Kamara for Tua and Ayuk. It's okay. It's okay whenever we have Josh Allen here. But great team. The one thing that I am a little bit concerned about is going to be Saquon Barkley. If you're looking at what we have with Saquon Barkley here, this is a running back that I really like the talent. I really like the role that you always get as a receiver as well. But ultimately, if this is the worst offense in the NFL, it is difficult to go through and get too excited about what we have with Barkley, to call Barkley like a must-start guy every single week. So if we could maybe pivot off of Saquon Barkley and get to another running back that would be really excited about, I think maybe we would. Like if you can sell, say, Saquon Barkley in one of these depth pieces like Terry McLaurin, and somehow, some way, something like Barkley and McLaurin and go get Austin Eckler, I think that'd be an absolute no-brainer, my friend. Sean says, I listened to you drop Charbonnet for Taylor, got me 2.9, and I won by 0.3. Appreciate you, brother. You're the man. Enjoy your birthday, Mason. God bless. Hell yes, my man. And this is not Jonathan Taylor. This was Taylor playing tonight. And super happy to hear that you were able to win that game, my man. Let's go. Let's go. Pack Fresh says, should I trade Breece and Lawrence for Pollard? My other running backs are Warren, Saquon, and Bijan. Really does matter the other quarterback that you have. Obviously, Breece looked phenomenal this week. Breece looked way better than Pollard. Breece also played the worst defense in the NFL. Pollard also played the best. I would rather have Pollard over Breece rest of season relatively easily. And if Lawrence isn't someone we need, I'm fine with it. Bones coming out saying 4-1. We have Purdy, Connor, Eckler, Diggs, Jefferson, Laporta. Hit hard with injuries. Should we hold on to Jefferson? I have no depth. I would say yes, we are going to be holding on to Jefferson. If you were 1-4, hit hard with injuries, and we had no depth, I would say we have to go ahead and we have to sell Jefferson, as it looks like he's a long shot to play this week. But if you're 4-2 and we miss Justin Jefferson this week, what's the worst case scenario, my man? We fall to 4-3. I'm sorry, 4-2. Stefani says 8-team 4-1. Trade Swift, Waddle, Puka for Pollard and Akers. 8-team league, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Typically, we say always go get the best player. The best player in this deal is Tony Pollard. Does seem like we're paying a hefty price to get it, though. William coming out saying 3-2, 10-team PBR format. We have Allen, Watson, JT, Kyron, Cook, Roshan. Wide receiver, we have Hill, Hopkins, Brown, Gabe, Judy, Tank, Tutu, Laporta, and Hunter Henry. Who to package to upgrade a position? I mean, now that you're getting Deshaun Watson coming out of the bye, if you wanted to see if we could send, say, Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins and go get a wide receiver upgrade from the team that maybe was relying on Anthony Richardson, I think that could be viable if we're looking to start Josh Allen every single week. And at the same time, I do think that you can label DeAndre Hopkins as a pseudo sell high player, right? I mean, if you are looking at DeAndre Hopkins, this is a wide receiver that did see the volume, but that may have just been a function of no Treylon Burks, and I don't think it gets better going into his age 10 season. Jay says, Pittman and Kyron for Higgins in Dynasty. Who wins the trade? In Dynasty, give me T. Higgins for the long term. Obviously, in the short term, you'd rather have Pittman and Kyron. Kevin says, JT or Breece, full BBR rest of season for a 1-4 team needing production now. Let me ask this to the live chat. Everybody in the chat, let me know. Jonathan Taylor or Breece Hall rest of season. Who are you going with? Please spam the chat. Let me know. I think this would be a super interesting question for y'all to answer. And also, if you have not done so already, hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like button. Breece, JT, Breece, Breece, JT, Breece, JT, Breece, JT, Breece, Breece, JT. It looks like most people are saying Breece. Looks like most people are saying Breece Hall, my friend. With that being said, I don't think it's as far off as what the chat is making it seem. I do think that there is something to the fact that Breece Hall did have the best matchup that you could possibly ask for. We'll see what really is going to go down in this offense whenever we have him go up against Philly. Noah says, happy birthday, bro. Heading out to basic training in a couple days. We'll be back from fantasy advice in 7.5 weeks. All love. Congrats, my man. Have fun. Get everybody go through and give a congrats to Noah. Heading out to basic training. Noah's been a long time member of the flock. Good luck, my man. Everybody spam the chat. Good luck, Noah. He's been a member of the flock for years. And yes, wishing you the best of luck, my man. Have some fun. Have some fun. Even though I know it may be hard at times. Maybe hard at times. Now, Nicholas has just went 5-0 and won by 1.5 because Adams got a stinker. I am hyped. Hell yes, my man. Let's go. Let's go. Iggy Biggie says, 12-team half PPR format. We have Watson, Diggs, Chase, Kupp, Dobbs, Jacobs, JT Warren, Roshan, Akers, Musgrave. Offered Mahomes and Watson for Kupp and Watson. If yes, no, any other moves? Okay, wait. I'm a little bit confused. I'm assuming what you're saying is we were offered Patrick Mahomes and Christian Watson for Cooper Kupp and Deshaun Watson. I'm assuming that's what the question is. Would I rather have Patrick Mahomes and Christian Watson or Cooper Kupp and Deshaun Watson? I think at this point, with Kupp coming in and his first week, seeing the target share that he did, I probably want to be going with the Cooper Kupp side, my man. I think we honestly sit on our hands. I think that JT will get better as well. Duran says, let's go Raiders. Let's go Josh Jacobs. Let's go Josh Jacobs, my man. Clutchbox says, traded Amon-Ra and Godwin for Achane before I heard the news about his knee. Is it redeemable by Achane's talent? Obviously, depends on the knee injury. I would say if it's a full PPR format, based off the knee injury, I would rather have Amon-Ra St. Brown over Devon Achane. But obviously, it is really hard to know right now where we just don't have the clarity on what's happening with Devon Achane in Miami. But we also don't have the clarity on what's going on with Amon-Ra St. Brown either. Carlos says, 3-2, we need a running back. Do we make any moves? We have Hurts, Sanders, Spears, Adams, Pickens, Ertz, Jameson, Gibbs, Ford, Lockett, Jefferson Jr. Package Pickens with someone and sell. Happy birthday. Thank you. And we got about an hour 27 until it is officially our birthday here. And honestly, I mean, I would like to sell George Pickens. He was a buy low guy for us after week 1 when he's being valued more so as like a wide receiver 4. Now I'm seeing people rank him as like a wide receiver 2 rest of season. If you could take, say, George Pickens and send him with Miles Sanders and go get a viable running back for the long term, I think that would be a really interesting. Like if you could send Miles Sanders and George Pickens and go get to like the DeAndre Swift here, I'd really like that. Now, Massage says, should we trade Stevenson for Gainwell and Edwards? No, we'd rather have Stevenson, even if it's gross. Alex says, Pickens, Stevenson, and P. Ryan for Montgomery, Ridley. So Montgomery over Stevenson, Ridley over Pickens. We're paying Samaje P. Ryan to get it done. Yes, let's go Montgomery and Ridley here. That's an example of us selling high on George Pickens now. Now, B says, double flex PPR. We have Jalen Hurts, Saquon, Walker, Gibbs, Moss, Charbonnet, Roshan, Lamb, Ayuk, Watson, MT, London, Dell, Andrews. Trade Walker and Ayuk for Breece Hall and Amon-Ra St. Brown. We need a wide receiver 1. CeeDee Lamb has been bad. I think Lamb will be much better. I think going from Ayuk to Amon-Ra St. Brown, you were getting an upgrade. Going from Walker to Breece Hall, I think you were getting a lateral move in a full PPR format. So I think we will go with the Breece Hall and Amon-Ra St. Brown side. It's not a super, super easy trade to say, but probably. Mike says, happy birthday, brother. Also, Goddard or Laporta rest of season. Appreciate you as always, my man. And you know I have a lot of, and I repeat, a lot of Dallas Goddard. And I do not have much Sam Laporta. I wish I was drafting Sam Laporta way more than we did this offseason. With that being said, even with the big Dallas Goddard week that we had, I can't ignore what's happened. We had to take Sam Laporta over Dallas Goddard rest of season, even if it is a little bit painful. But let me go ahead and let's talk about this real quick. This is the same thing that we had to deal with last week with everybody saying, Mason, I saw a video of a doctor on YouTube saying that Cooper Kupp is not at 80%, and this means he's going to be re-injured, and this means I can't play him. Do I sell Cooper Kupp, and do I go get Tank Dell? I hate to bring this up, but if there's a doctor on YouTube making videos about an injury, the incentive is for the injury to sound serious and go, oh my gosh, he could be out for the season. This is a very big deal. Please make sure you subscribe and I'll update you with it tomorrow. Just because you saw a video of someone on YouTube going through and saying that Amon-Ra St. Brown may be missing the rest of the season doesn't mean that is something that's going to happen. Do not worry about Amon-Ra St. Brown missing the rest of the season. Now, with that being said, Amon-Ra St. Brown is someone that we should be somewhat concerned about at the moment. Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't necessarily someone that is locked and loaded coming back this next week. We definitely need to go through and continue to monitor what's going on with Amon-Ra St. Brown. But we're not thinking that he's going to be missing the rest of the year because of what a video said on YouTube. I had people in the comment section last week telling me that Cooper Kupp was going to miss a ton of time, and I was way too high on Cooper Kupp because of a video they watched on YouTube. I tried to tell you all this for a very long time, but the people on YouTube making videos, live streaming, especially if they're doing it every single day, especially if they've done it for 164 days in a row, they have no idea what they're talking about. Don't listen to them, especially if they wear a blazer, as they say it. It's straight nonsense. It should go in one ear and out the other. I've tried telling y'all this for years, and as I pull up our next question, go down there, hit that like button. Looks like less than 10% of y'all have dropped a like on this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And if you want to check out any of those pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, find it in the description, find it in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to get a 100% deposit match. You're going to get our rest of season fantasy football rankings. You'll get a Patrick Mahomes special pick'em more than less than half a total yard if you are new to Underdog Fantasy. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't matter if you use promo code FLOCK 3 years ago, 2 years ago, last year, yesterday, today, or tomorrow, as long as you use promo code FLOCK on Underdog for our birthday, they're going to everybody up with the additional Justin Herbert special pick of more than less than half a total yard. Super pumped about that. Please make sure you're taking advantage with the link in the live chat. But our next question coming out from, I believe, Gabriel says, won my week 5-6. Thanks to you. No, my man, I promise you, there are a lot of other people who are losing games because of us. You're winning games because of yourself. Should I accept this trade for selling Burrow? Burrow and James Cook for Kenneth Walker, Scary Terry, and Sam Howell. Jordan Love is our other quarterback. James Cook to Kenneth Walker is a clear upgrade. Going from Burrow to Scary Terry and Sam Howell is I'm an idiot. We're skipping ahead to the next one. Lost Jefferson in a full BBR 12-team league where I just traded Olave for JT, but we have Ayuk, Waddle, Dobbs, and Sutton. Running backs are Swift, Jones, JT, Spears. What are your thoughts? I think we're going to be fine. We get JT back in. We have the depth. We can play a running back there in the flex spot. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I mean, if you are sitting here and you have a great record and we're looking more so long-term, I mean, really, we just need to be staying alive. We can just go through and we can just start Justin Jefferson and see what happens, right? I'm sorry, not start someone in place of Justin Jefferson and see when Jefferson comes back. You don't have to panic. Now, Scott says 1-3 super flex. Should we sell Burrow and James Cook for Walker, Scary Terry, and Sam Howell? Not in the super flex format. Now is not the time to sell Joe Burrow. Looks like Joe Burrow may or may not be back, my man. Sir Rom says, happy birthday, mate. Hope you're having a great year ahead. 2 wins on the bounce. 2-3, 12-team BBR shallow. Hurts, Hall, Javonte, HN, Dalvin, Gainwell, Hunt, AJ Brown, Hopkins, Gabe, Jameson, JSN, Kelsey. Any trades? So nice that we have the Breece Hall breakout. I mean, really, we're going to be sitting here waiting until we get Devon HN back. Really happy to hear that we've won the past 2 weeks, my man. I mean, I think a potential trade that could be interesting is if we could go through and if we're still 2-3 and thinking about more so trying to win right now rather than long term, sending Jackson Smith and Jigba, a player that I really like for the long term, and DeAndre Hopkins, and going and getting a player that's going to be a stud for us right now, I think that would make a lot of sense. So yeah, let's see if we can get one of those stud wide receivers. Let's see if we can go get someone like Chris Olave. But if not, no harm, no foul. We really just want to have Devon Achane good to go. Kevin says Jefferson, Gabe Davis for Kelsey, JT, and Mike Evans. Jefferson and Kelsey, depending on the injury, you could go either way. Gabe Davis for JT and Mike Evans. It's JT and Mike Evans easily. If it was a healthy Jefferson, I'd say probably the Jefferson side. But with an injured Jefferson, not going to fault you at all if you want to pivot to Kelsey and JT. Victor says 12-team Happy BR 1-4 with Richardson, Burrow, Chase, Ridley, Pittman, DK, Jacobs, Montgomery, Hall, Javonte, Laporta. Happy I started Hall, but next week he plays Philly, then a bye. Given my record, do I sell high or hold? Happy birthday. Thank you, my friend. I'm going to try to get a sense of the Breece Hall value right now for you in the live chat. So we already determined most people in the live chat would rather have Breece Hall over Jonathan Taylor. Let's go with this other running back. Who would y'all rather have rest of season? Would you rather have Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker? Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker? Can everybody spam the chat and let me know what direction you're going in? Okay. We got Walker, Hall. Hall, Walker, Hall, Walker. Walker. It looks like most people are going to go K9 here. Looks like most people are going K9. So, I mean, we can send that deal out and see if that could get done. The one other player that I am interested to know of, he had a big game this week as well. And I know I would sell him. I would sell Breece Hall for Travis Etienne in a heartbeat. I mean, we said it the second that Aaron Rodgers went down. I stand by it. Please give me Travis Etienne over Breece Hall. But am I losing my mind? Who would y'all rather have? Would y'all rather have Breece Hall or Travis Etienne? Because I saw some people trying to go through and make fun of us on Twitter for saying to sell Breece Hall for Travis Etienne 3 weeks ago. But we got close for now between Etienne and Hall. Interesting. Yeah, says, sounding like Pac-Man out here. Love to see it. Etienne. Hall, Etienne. Okay, it looks like most people are going to go Travis. I would say if you could sell Breece Hall for Travis Etienne, it's definitely going to be a sell for me. If you're 1-4 and you were worried about the matchup and then the bye, the thing is, if you were to go through and trade for Kenneth Walker as well, you get the added on bonus that he's already through his bye. So I think if you wanted to go through and if you wanted to make that move, that would be nice. AJ says, Mason, you're going to get burned for the Breece Hall hate. Okay, well, let's be on record what I've done with Breece Hall. Breece Hall week 1, right after Aaron Rodgers went down, he had some big runs on Monday night against Buffalo. I said, sell him for Travis Etienne. We said Breece Hall is a sell-high candidate. Breece Hall continued to do nothing for 3 weeks. His value cratered. And then before the report of him seeing no more snap count, I came out and I officially said Breece Hall is now a buy low running back. So we have accurately called the top and the bottom of the Breece Hall price chart. We have called the exact sell high moment. We rode that down, called the buy low, bought the dip. So yes, I'm going to get burned for saying 3 weeks ago when his price was way higher than it was now before he did absolutely anything to sell him for Travis Etienne, a player that people would still rather have over Breece Hall, my man. Interesting case. Now, Ryan says 4-1, 10-team, PBR, single flex. We have Allen, Kelsey, Jacobs, Montgomery, Gibbs, Warren, Algier, Chase, Keenan, Watson, Sutton, Johnson, JSN, Jacobs, and Watson for Austin Eckler, and drop Cortland Sutton. If you want to drop Sutton, not going to fault you for it. Keep in mind he had a very tough matchup against the Jets this past week. I would rather have the rookies with upside over them. And yeah, I would rather have Austin Eckler over Jacobs and Watson. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from Saram against the same team as the first question. I got an informal offer. I get Josh Jacobs for Devon Achane. This is the 2-3 team, but unlikely due to injury. Thoughts on the trade? I may add a small piece and Achane for Jacobs. It obviously is so difficult for us to go through and for us to say make this trade right now before we have a sense of what is actually going to happen with Devon Achane, right? Before we know, I would probably on a 2-3 roster just take Josh Jacobs for now. If you're looking to add a small piece, like if you can add Kareem Hunt, if you can add Kenneth Walker and get it done, sure, let's do it. Obviously, Achane looks like he's the significantly better running back. It all comes down to what you are thinking with this knee injury. We have literally no information about it right now. Literally nothing. Okay. And if you're 2-3 and you think he misses a month, then it could help to have someone that's going to score points right now. Now, Dylan says, hey, Mason, I've Laporte and Waller. Want to trade one in either Godwin or Kirk in a package. So the thing is, nobody's going to trade for Darren Waller, you know. If you're looking at Darren Waller, it'd be nice to see if we could sell him with, say, Christian Kirk and go out there and get a wide receiver in the Chris Olave range. If we can go get CeeDee Lamb, then hell yeah, let's do it. In reality, we're probably not going to be able to make that move. If you were going to make this trade, you probably end up having to sell Sam Laporta. Just from what I've seen in the live stream as of late, I don't think anybody is going to be excited to go through and trade for Waller. Yes, Jameson Williams is still worth the roster spot even in a 10-team league. Kobe, I was saying he wasn't worth the roster spot when he was suspended, but the second he's not suspended, you got to at least give him a few weeks. Kobe says 5-0 in my 14-team main league. Hell yes, take a sip of water. You deserve it. Thank you. Thank you. You should not panic sell with Amon-Ra St. Brown right now under concerns of long-term injury. There are definite concerns of a long-term injury. It will be something that we have to go through and monitor. If you can find someone that has not heard anything about it, and you could sell Amon-Ra St. Brown, you could go get Devontae Adams off of a bad Devontae Adams performance, then sure, let's go ahead and do it. But at least from what I've seen in the live chat, seems like everybody is concerned about this Amon-Ra St. Brown injury. And in reality, while it's something that we have to think about, I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world. Now, Dale D'Antoni says Pollard and Waddle or Amari for Eckler. I would trade Pollard and Amari for Eckler in an 8-team league in a heartbeat. 8-team league, depth doesn't matter, get the best player. McKinley says 12-team PPR was offered Pollard, Ayuk, Ertz for Andrews, Evans, Pierce. Pollard to Andrews, downgrade. Ayuk to Evans, downgrade. Ertz to Pierce, upgrade. I probably hold on to Tony Pollard there, my friend. Ryan says traded Smith and Breece for Kupp and Walker. Breece to Walker, probably give me Walker, but it's close. Smith to Kupp, definitely give me Cooper Kupp. I like it, my man. I like it. And thank you for always being out with us. Now, Fu Schnickens coming out saying Amon-Ra and Montgomery for Tyreek and Kyron Williams in a 14-team league. Amon-Ra to Tyreek, massive upgrade. Montgomery to Kyron Williams. I mean, obviously, looks like at this point you probably prefer Montgomery, but it's close. Kyron Williams getting a massive workload as well. We're going to go ahead. We will take Tyreek Hill and Kyron Williams. I think it's a fair deal, and with the injury concerns that you have with Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's a no-brainer. Big Mac says, I traded Henry and Olave for Jefferson. What are your thoughts? If Jefferson's not going to be out for an extended period, if it's only like 2 to 3 weeks, then you probably like it. Jake says, happy birthday, squad is 3-2. The lineup is Fields, Bijan, Achane, Diggs, Puka, Laporta, and Breece. We have Saquon, Evans, Hollywood on the bench. Feel like we need a package and upgrade a position. Any suggestion? What I've been looking at, my man, what I think would be very appealing is if you can take someone like Hollywood Brown that fundamentally really is never going to make a difference for your team when we're this loaded, and go send, say, Hollywood Brown and Justin Fields, and go get an upgraded quarterback. Go get someone like Jalen Hurts. Go get someone like Josh Allen. Go get someone like Patrick Mahomes. I think that would make a lot of sense, my friend. Aaron says 12-team PPR, 3 wide receivers, 2 flex. We have Herbert, Howell, Bijan, Etienne, Hall, Dalvin, Rivers, Keaton, Garrett Wilson, Ridley, Amari, Addison, Myers, Michael Wilson, Mims, Logan Thomas, 3-2. Any moves? Michael Wilson, if it was like a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league, probably would just be someone ready to cut. Here, wide receiver depth matters a little bit more. I think Dalvin Cook is a clear cut at this point with Breece Hall being the lead back. And I mean, even if Breece Hall were to go down, Dalvin Cook's so inefficient in such a bad offense that Dalvin's not going to get you anything. So I think we go ahead. I think we look to cut Dalvin Cook. You can feel free to cut Sam Howell as well. Just turn these guys on the waiver wire in a 12-team league. When we have Herbert coming back, we're going to start Herbert every single week, regardless of matchup. So in terms of trades, I don't see much. Wide receiver depth is going to matter a little bit more in this league, given the league settings. I think we probably just cut Dalvin. We probably cut Sam Howell. And we look to pick up some guys like Josh Downs off the waiver wire with upside, especially in that format. Now, Common Sense says, 10-team at BBR, Mahomes with Adams, Cup, Evans, Michael Pittman Jr., Eckler, Swift, Sanders, Warren, Charbonnet, Roschon, Hunt, Dalvin, Jameson, Kelsey. Currently 3-2 and in third place. Any moves? Love all the content. Flock365, happy birthday. Appreciate you being a long time member of the flock. Thank you so much for everything, my man. I mean, this is a great team. Now that we get Eckler back, we're 3-2. We survived with the Austin Eckler injury. We have Eckler through his bye as well. I mean, we're not going to get a lot for like Miles Sanders. If you could send like Sanders and Mike Evans, if it's a 10-team, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league, and go get a running back upgrade, we would. In reality, we have the Mahomes Kelsey stack. We have Adams, Cup, Eckler. This is a nutso team, and honestly, we just kind of have to ride it out. Jordan says, lost Chubb and Mike Williams in my 16-team league. Oh my gosh. Started 0-2. Managed to get to 2-2. Jacobs gave him the lead late. Then Love on the last drive gave me the lead and blew it with the interception at the end. That is so brutal, my man. I mean, we talk about this over and over again. I know we've said this whenever you send us this team before, but I mean, losing Nick Chubb, Mike Williams is tough, but losing them in a 16-team format is a different kind of tough. I mean, it's so hard to replace those guys off the waiver wire in a 16-team league. Augustin says, Achane and Kelsey for Pollard and Kittle. You want Kelsey and Achane here, even with the potential Achane injury. Lalo says, Watson, Stroud, Bijan, Eckler, James Cook, Stevenson, Najee. T, Amari, Watson, Johnson, TJ. Doubt I can trade anything. I'm 1-4 and Texas lost. Horrible week. Tough week with Texas losing. I mean, fantasy football wise, I liked it, but yes, tough week with Texas losing. And yeah, the thing you would want to do is you would love to go ahead and you would love to take one of these running backs like either Stevenson or Najee and go get some value elsewhere. Maybe you could send like James Cook and Deshaun Watson or James Cook and CJ Stroud and go get an elite level quarterback whenever we're sitting with Bijan and Eckler and we have some running back depth. I think that would be something that honestly could probably help turn this team around. Or maybe go send them in a package for a wide receiver upgrade. I'm originally green coming out saying 10-team super flex. Have BBR, no tight end double flex. 3-2. We have Hurts, Tua, Ramadre, Swift, AJ, Diggs, Ayuk, Flowers. And then on the bench, Addison, Purdy, Charbonnet, Spears, Roschon, Dell. Great team. In terms of making any trades, we're not going to, since this is a double flex format. We can punt RB2 there with Ramondre Stevenson in a super flex, double flex league built around wide receiver with the elite level quarterbacks. You're in a position where we can more so just kind of ignore RB2, knowing it makes up such a small percentage of our starting lineup output in that format in particular. Nathan says, happy birthday, Mason. Thank you. We got about an hour till it's officially our birthday. Play DJ Moore this week, but Burrow, Chase, Montgomery, Hall, Jacobs saved me. I'm 4-1. Thanks for all the help. No, thank you for being a long time member of the flock, my man. Congrats on all the success. Ty says, outlook on Kenneth Walker rest of season. I think Walker's a running back in a good offense. That's going to be an efficient rusher. That's not going to have a massive role as a receiver because you're going to get a little more Zach Charbonnet in that area. Yeah, so I like Walker. I like him a little bit more in a non-PBR than a full PBR league. And then Lamb or Higgins, it's going to be Lamb. That's not close. It's going to be Lamb, not close. Isaiah says, tight end is Henry. Laporta owner wants Fields and Judy, leaving me with Cousins, Cup, Allen, Ayuk, Myers. Do we take the tight end? No. If you're trading I like the idea of trading Justin Fields and Jerry Judy. I'd rather go get Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or Jalen Hurts for that package, and then see if we can take Cousins and Hunter Henry and go get that tight end upgrade. But I don't know if pivoting from Justin Fields and Jerry Judy to Sam Laporta does much for us. Zip coming out says 12-team BBR 3-2. Watson, Bijan, Saquon, Ayuk, Amari, Watson, Zay, Ingram, Javonte, JSN. I dropped 70 this week, and I feel like we need to make a move. So we will have Deshaun Watson back out of the bye. We will have Saquon Barkley back from the injury. We'll have Amari back from the bye. We'll have Javonte back from his injury. We have JSN for the long term. In reality, I don't really see too many trades that make sense for this team. I think we're just kind of pot committed to this Cleveland Browns offense with the Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper stack. So you're really hoping that these guys do well, of course. But if they do well, you should be in a completely fine spot. Yeah, I don't necessarily know if there are any trades to be made there. Ethan says, I attached the win this week, 139.68 to I snatched the win this week to 139.36, 0.3, all thanks to Jamar Chase. Love almost cost me this W, especially with the interception at the end. That is brutal, my man. That is brutal. Congrats, though. Happy to see it. Jacob says, 2 and 3, 12-team full BBR, 2 receivers, 1 flex. We have Love, Etienne, HN, Devontae, Kupp, Hollywood, Kelsey. And then on the bench, we have Dak, Watson, Javonte Ford, Michael Wilson, Quentin Johnson, Taji. Who can I package to get a quarterback upgrade? Will be a tough spot to make a deal, right? Jerome Ford would have been someone we could have done it a couple weeks back with. He was a sell-high guy for us after the Tennessee game. If we could still look to sell high on Jerome Ford and say Jordan Love and go get to quarterback we're excited about from week-to-week perspective, I would definitely look to do that. You're not going to be able to get anything for Dak. I guess not much for Love either at this point. You're not going to be able to trade Javonte for anything. Kupp, Devontae Adams are too good to trade for a quarterback. If you can send Hollywood and Love and go get like a Lamar Jackson, that'd be a no-brainer. It's just really hard imagining that you're able to do that after this Monday night. Now, Alex says 3 and 2, 10-team PPR. We have Hurts, Bijan, Aaron Jones, Chase, DJ Moore, Waller, Judy, McLaurin. A couple days ago, we traded Waddle Lawrence for Jalen Hurts and Adam Thielen for Waller, kicking myself over these. Waddle Lawrence for Hurts isn't that bad. Thielen for Waller isn't that bad. I think you're fine. We really do need to have Aaron Jones back in, but we have Hurts, we have Bijan, we have Jamar. We have elite level players across the board, and Waller is getting volume. Obviously, the issue is the efficiency just isn't there. Now, Mateo says 10-team happy BR format 2 and 3. We have Kirk, Jefferson, Olave, Keenan Allen, CMC, Swift, Goddard. And then on the bench, we have Gabe, Drake, Dobbs, Rasheed, Nico, Dobbs. No idea what to do after the Jefferson injury. Any trades? 2 and 3 will be tough because obviously we need points right now. We do have Nico Collins to start for the time being, especially with the Tank Dell injury. If you wanted to diversify out of this Minnesota Vikings offense, actually, we don't have the wide receiver depth to sell. I would say we're not going to be doing too many trades. The one thing that I really don't like about this team is the amount of wide receivers we are rostering down on the bench. I'd probably just look to cut a couple of these wide receivers and try to pick up some running backs with upside and maybe try to find the next like Kyron Williams. Stefan, always happy to see you. My man says, 12-team standard 3 and 2. Need an upgrade at running back. Starters are Tua, Stevenson, Montgomery, Amon-Ra, Diggs, Waller, Kirk. And then on the bench, we have Roschon, London, Tutu, Najee, Sutton, and Michael Wilson. So if we're looking at an upgrade for running back, I mean, obviously it'd be very nice if I could go through and say, oh man, simple. Let's trade Cortland Sutton and Ramondre Stevenson. Let's get someone better. Let's trade Tutu Atwell and Najee Harris. Let's get someone better. Let's trade Christian Kirk and Ramondre Stevenson. Let's get some. It's much easier said than done. In reality, what I've seen is you are not going to be able to find a single person in your league that wants to trade for Stevenson or Najee Harris. So, I don't know, my friend. I think that you're probably going to be in a spot where we're sitting on our hands and sitting up a prayer that one of these running backs is able to turn it around. And maybe we get saved and are able to start Roschon with Khalil Herbert missing. But Tacoma says 10-team non-PBR. We have Fields, Richardson, Chase, Olave, Judy, Johnson, Jacobs, Walker, HN, Sanders, Higbee, Pitts. Should we look to trade? So non-PBR format, we're going to look to build around running back if we can, which we've already done a good job of doing. I think this is a great team. The only thing I'd say is obviously if we can send like Jerry Jeudy and Justin Fields and go get to Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, I would look to do that. And also I think Kyle Pitts could potentially be a sell-high guy where, I mean, I actually like Kyle Pitts in round 7 of drafts this year. And obviously Kyle Pitts had one hell of a game, but still you had Jonnu Smith seeing a large role here. And I just don't think there'll be enough passing volume overall to actually make it where you can have multiple tight ends be viable in this offense. But Christian will be our next question, but we have to keep on refreshing so we can bring these up. So let me do that in 1 second. And as I do this, please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. We are going to be live streaming every single day until 2024. It's our birthday in exactly 1 hour. And if you want to get me a birthday present, there's no better present you could get me than going and taking advantage of what we have over there on Underdog Fantasy for y'all right now. If you go sign up for Underdog and check out these pick'ems, you can find the link in the comment section, in the description, in the live chat. You will get a 100% deposit match. You will get our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be getting a Patrick Mahomes special pick'em if you are new to Underdog Fantasy on Thursday night. And because it is my birthday, Underdog hooked us up where we are going to be able to get everybody, regardless if you signed up with code FLOCK 3 years ago, 2 years, last year, yesterday, today, or tomorrow, everybody set up with a Justin Herbert special pick'em on top of that on Monday. So 2 special pick'ems the same week. Make sure you are taking advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Christian, who says 12-team PPR 3-2. We have Lawrence, Jacobs, Ramondre, Ridley, Puka, Kelsey, and then the flex is Ayuk. On the bench, we have Godwin, Laporta, Algier. How do we save the team from Ramondre? So we actually have something that maybe can't save us, right? We could go through and we could sell someone that people actually want. If you wanted to try to send, say, Sam Laporta and Ramondre and go get a running back that is viable, I think that could be a really nice move considering the fact that we are already starting Kelsey every single week. So Sam Laporta really gives us no value. And yeah, if we can sell Laporta and Ramondre on a Kelsey team to get a running back upgrade, I'd like that. David says 2 and 3. We have Tua, CMC, Jacobs, Diggs, Olave, JT, Andrews. And then on the bench, we have Love, Mitchell, Walker, St. Brown, Waddle, Ingram. What trades do you recommend? Happy early birthday. Thank you, my man. We have the great tight ends. We have the great quarterback. We have elite running backs. We have wide receivers at the very top. We have JT in the flex. Nutso team. You'll love to see it. I mean, really, it's going to be hard. I want to say, okay, well, we have great options on the bench. We have Kenneth Walker. We have Amon-Ra St. Brown. We have Jalen Waddle. Let's go make a 2-for-1 deal and let's get an upgrade in the starting lineup. Whereas in reality, I mean, the starting lineup's already great. If you really wanted to send, say, like, I don't know, maybe Jalen Waddle and Mark Andrews and go get to Kelsey once he's fully healthy, we can do that because I'm going to assume that's like a 6-team league, an 8-team league, just because of how loaded our team is and the fact that we're 2 and 3 with that loaded roster. Now, Jevin says 8-team full BBR. We have Pacheco, Ridley, Lamb on the bench. If I package them together, could I get a top 10 wide receiver? Happy birthday, champ. Appreciate you, my man. I think Lamb is a top 10 wide receiver. If you are going to be packaging guys together, you're going to be packaging Pacheco and Calvin Ridley. I think that you could potentially get to a top 10 wide receiver. You'd have to maybe trade for a distressed asset dealing with an injury. Like if you wanted to send them for like maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown, you could pull that off. I'm sure the Amon-Ra St. Brown owner is very much worried about that injury. But obviously, then you would take on that risk. If you're trading for a top 10 wide receiver in that 8-team league there, I'm going to operate on the assumption that you will have to take on some risk. Now, William says Jefferson for Austin Eckler. We have Waddle and Puka. Can everybody spam the chat? Who would you rather have rest of season? Would you rather have Justin Jefferson or Austin Eckler? Justin Jefferson or Austin Eckler rest of season, ladies and gentlemen. You have Waddle and Puka for some context. Jefferson, JJ, JJ. JJ, Eckler, JJ, JJ, Eckler, JJ. JJ, 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 Eckler. JJ, 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 Eckler. Yeah, so, I mean, you're seeing that even with the Jefferson injury, my man, everybody's already still taking Jefferson. Victoria, happy to see you, says 8-team full BBR format 4-1. We have Montgomery, Mostert, Diggs, Lamb, Madison on the flex. On the bench, we have Evans, Gibbs, Pierce, I believe Javonte. Of the waivers, should we add McLaurin, Reynolds, or Zach Moss for Dobbs? Happy birthday. Thank you. Definitely think that it's a good idea to go through and drop Romeo Dobbs in an 8-team league where the wide receiver depth doesn't matter as much. And when the wide receiver depth doesn't matter as much, I think that if you wanted to pick up Zach Moss, I'm not going to fault you for it. I think in a vacuum, you maybe prefer Terry McLaurin over Zach Moss. But what we can say with Zach Moss is, oh, okay, well, we know even in an 8-team league, if you are having an injury to Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss is a must-start matchup winning running back. What has to happen for Terry McLaurin to turn into that in an 8-team format? I don't know. So if we're talking like last roster spot, maybe we'd go Moss. I don't know. It's tough though. Drew's Reviews says 12-team PPR, trade Henry Pittman for Javonte Adams London. But yes, let me go back. Drop Dobbs, pick up either McLaurin or Moss, up to you. Okay. Drew's Review says 12-team PPR trade Henry Pittman for Javonte Adams London. Henry to Adams, give me Adams. Pittman to Javonte London, give me Pittman. We have Fields, Ramondre, Henry, Jefferson, Jamar Kmet. Scared of the Jefferson injury. I'm fine if you wanted to go through and make this move in a 12-team full PPR format. Non-PPR league, you'd probably want to hold on to Henry. JB says Metcalf and Jacobs for Tyreek. Oh, definitely give me Tyreek. Braden says 12-team PPR 1 and 4. Trade Saquon for Rashad White and Olave. I very much am worried about Saquon Barkley's overall offense. I think that it's not the worst idea selling Saquon Barkley. I don't know if we want to be doing it at this price, though. It's tough. Dialli says 12-team PPR single flex. We have Fields, Cook, White, Ramondre, Goddard, DJ Hill, Amon-Ra, Gino, Roshan, Jameson, White, Johnson. Traded Fields, DJ, White, Ramondre for Lawrence, Pollard, Pierce, Dotson, Kyler for the IR. Was this an overpay? Fields to Lawrence, downgrade. White to Pollard, upgrade. Ramondre to Pierce, lateral move. DJ to Dotson. Dotson is nothing. So let me walk through this again. Let's take out Kyler. Kyler doesn't matter. Let's take out Dotson. Dotson doesn't matter. We traded. Let's take out Pierce and Ramondre. So they're about the same at this point. We traded Justin Fields, DJ Moore, Rashad White for Lawrence Pollard, for Lawrence and Pollard. I think we probably overpaid just a bit. I think getting those guys like Jahan Dotson maybe clouded our and Kyler Murray clouded up our judgment just a little bit. I don't know. I would have assumed that we could have gotten a little bit more for Fields. Stefani says 8-team 4-1, Puka, Swift, Kamara for Waller, Bijan. So 8-team league, give me the best player in the deal. Give me Bijan Robinson. 8-team league 4-1, give me Bijan. Francis says, need your help, my guy. Full BBR. Do we trade Amari, Ford, Gabe Davis, and Kmet for A.J. Brown and Stevenson? Amari to A.J. Brown relatively easily. Ford, Gabe Davis, Kmet to Ramondre Stevenson. Who the hell cares? Yeah, let's go A.J. Brown and Stevenson. Dobbs says HN for Kyron and Godwin. I think in a vacuum, you'd rather have HN if he's fully healthy. It's just almost impossible to answer right now not knowing the availability of HN. Problem through says 3-2, Patrick, Jacobs, Montgomery, Jefferson, Watson, Davis, Conklin, and JT trade for Pacheco, Laporta, Thomas for Jacobs. No idea what the hell you're asking here. Pacheco, Laporta, Thomas for Jacobs. Or is it JT for Pacheco? If you do not have a tight end and you wanted to trade Josh Jacobs for Isaiah Pacheco, Sam Laporta, and Michael Thomas, it's not the worst deal in the world. I don't know what you're asking, though. Hospital Mike says, 12-team full BBR double flex 5-0. Congrats, my friend. We have Watson, Jacobs, Kyron, Jefferson, Olave, Andrews, DJ Moore, Rashad White, Tajay Spears, Palmer, Mims, Musgrave, Sam Howell. Thoughts? Should we drop Mims for a waiver wire option or should we chill? 5-0 team, I think that you are fine chilling as is. If you wanted to drop Marvin Mims, if you had like Rashee Rice or Josh Downs available on your waiver wire, I think possibly they would have a little bit more upside just based off their respective offenses and situations. Colin says, sell or keep Justin Fields. We have Stroud. Also, sell or keep Breece Hall. If you can sell Breece Hall for ETN, I personally would because he's in a much better offense. Sell or keep Calvin Ridley. Sell or keep Devontae Adams. Keep Adams. I'll probably hold on to Ridley. I don't know who's really going out there paying for him. And then if you have Justin Fields, if I can take Justin Fields and then a wide receiver like Hollywood Brown and go send him for maybe Josh Allen, for maybe Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, I'd really like that. Jaron says, I know it's early, but happy birthday anyway. We got about 50 minutes until it, my man. Have a great one. 3-2. Don't want to choke this season away. We have Lamar, Love, Walker, Pierce, Charbonnet, Kelsey, Wandell, JSN, Reed, Odell. Any trades or waiver wire ads? I think we're working the waiver wire, my man. I think at this point, it's safe to say you cut Jaden Reed, you cut Odell Beckham Jr., you go out there and you pick up wide receivers like Josh Downs, Rashee Rice, or you go out there and pick up, like the running back in Arizona, right? Or you go try to find the next guy like Tajay Spears, someone that's an injury away from possibly turning into the next, say, Kyron Williams. So I think what you really want to do is you want to just go through and drop the wide receivers at the very bottom end that aren't doing anything, like Reed, like Odell, that really don't have that upside to make it into your lineup. Jalen says, happy birthday, my man. Thank you. 10-team full BBR. We have Burrow, Love, Henry, Walker, Ramondre Moss. Wide receiver, we have Chase Smith, Watson, JSN, Michael Thomas, and Zay. Kyle Pitts, we are 3-2. Nice that it looks like Burrow is actually going to be viable going forward now. I mean, if we were going to be looking to do anything here, if we can get something nice for Zach Moss, that'd make a lot of sense. Yeah, so I'd say maybe the only thing is if we could send off Pitts and maybe a depth wide receiver like, say, Christian Watson or Zay Flowers and go get a tight end like TJ Hawkinson, especially with the Jefferson injury, I'd really like that. Hayden says 3-2, 12-team PPR. We have Allen, Lamb, AJ Brown, Achane, Sanders, Kelsey, Lockett, Roshan, Spears, Charbonnet, Elijah Moore, Dobbs, Dotson. Any suggestions, any sell-high, or any trade targets? Be really nice to upgrade RB2. I don't necessarily think that we have anything that we can do in terms of trades. I think we just want to be rostering more guys like Roshan, Charbonnet, Spears. I think at this point, Dotson is cuttable. Dobbs maybe is cuttable. I probably don't cut Dobbs just yet, but probably go ahead and cut Jahan Dotson and go pick up another running back off the waiver wire like the running back in Arizona that we could potentially play over Miles Sanders in the short term. But long term, really do like this team, especially with all the youth that we have on the bench. Now, Young Gun Media says traded Lamb, Ford for Pollard and Amari, then traded Brian Robinson and Kirk for Jamar Chase. What are your thoughts? Great chase deal. Lamb and Ford for Pollard and Amari. Probably like this one as well, to be honest with you. I'd rather have Pollard over Lamb. Amari, Ford. Probably give me Amari if Hunt split in the backfields with Ford. Robbie says, we have Lawrence, CMC, Pacheco, AJ Brown, Ridley, Lamb, Logan Thomas. And then on the bench, we have Love, Pittman, Connor, Musgrave. Picking up Dermacado off the waiver wire. Any other moves that we should make? Yes or no question, everybody in the chat. Is Jordan Love droppable if your quarterback is Trevor Lawrence? Just say yes or no. Spam it. Let me know. Is Jordan Love droppable if your QB is Trevor Lawrence? Yes, yes, no, no. No, yes, no, yes, no, yes. Yes, 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 no. Yes, no, no. Yes, no, no. So it does look like it's split about 50-50. Maybe if you want to just give a little bit more time, you can, but I don't know. I think it's a very well-balanced team where you don't really need to be doing anything there, my man. If you had another exciting waiver wire pickup and you wanted to move off of what you had with, say, Love, you can. But our next question coming out from, I believe, Longhorn Nation, who says, full BBR, 2 and 3. We have Herbert, Saquon, Kyron. I'm sorry. This is for 44 Curie. 12-team BBR, 2 and 3. Herbert, Saquon, Kyron, Keenan Smith, Waller, Connor, Collins, Warren, Ferguson, Sutton, Stroud, Pierce. Any moves? Not necessarily. If we could throw Saquon out there and see if we could send like Saquon Barkley and Nico Collins to get to Austin Eckler, I think that'd make a lot of sense. And be willing to throw in someone like CJ Stroud. We have enough depth on this team to get it done. Even with the James Conner injury, we can go through and play Damian Pierce in there. So, I mean, that would be something we'd look to do just with how bad this offense is. Now, Longhorn Nation says full BBR, 3 and 2. Addison's my wide receiver 5, and I can only play 3. Quarterback is Love. I can waiver Stafford. No other quarterbacks for sale. Do I flip Addison for Anthony Richardson? Anthony Richardson's probably going to miss about a month here, my man. I think you go sell Jordan Addison for Joe Burrow, even if Burrow is not great up until this point. If he is able to overcome the injury, then at that point you are excited. I agree. We do want to go out there and we want to try to make a trade. I just don't know if Richardson's the guy with him being injured. I mean, it doesn't really solve our issue. Now, Matthew says 1-4 10-team BBR with Fields, Richardson, Kyron, JT, Javonte, Jaleel, Ill, Higgins, Wilson, Watson, Hopkins, Hawkinson. Should we trade Kyron Fields for Saquon, CD, and Lawrence? Kyron to Saquon, lateral move. Fields for Lamb and Lawrence. Give me Lamb and Lawrence. So, yes, we will go ahead. I do think we're getting a downgraded quarterback, but be able to pick up CD Lamb to do it. We will trade Kyron and Fields for Saquon, CD, and Lawrence. AB says, happy birthday, boss. Got offered Ridley for Garrett Wilson. Do I accept? Yes, sir, I will, just because I think he has a much better quarterback and much better, just an overall offense. But Corey says, 10-team, have BBR, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex. We have Mahomes, Walker, Pollard, Hopkins, Allen, Puka, Musgrave. On the bench, we have Charbonnet, Warren, Jameson, Pirine, Algier, 4-1. Any advice? Not necessarily. We don't have a ton of depth down here on this team. I feel like we've already done a good job trying to optimize for the starting lineup and kind of sell the depth here in this 10-team league. So, no, I think we sit on the roster for now, and I think Musgrave's much better than I was giving him credit for, at least with his role in this offense. Now, Contra One says, yo, Mace, we're B-Day bros. Just wanted to wish you happy birthday, my man, and thank you for all the content, of course. Take care and enjoy it as well. Happy birthday, my friend. Really, really happy to have it with you. And I hope you mean that yours is on October 10th. Mine's not for another 45 minutes. Maybe yours is October 9th, but regardless, happy birthday and hope you have a great one. And we will be live streaming all day tomorrow. So we will be live streaming on our birthday as we always do, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Alex says 10-team BBR 4-1. We have Lawrence, Diggs, Ayuk, Pollard, Jacobs, Andrews, Montgomery. And then on the bench, we have DJ, DK, Love, Warren, Watson, Rice. What moves do we make? I don't really see much that stands out. If you could sell like DK Metcalf and Trevor Lawrence and go get a top 3 to 4 quarterback, then let's do it. And then at that point, like if you could sell DK Metcalf and Trevor Lawrence and go get, say, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. And you still have DJ Moore down there on the bench. You still have Christian Watson on the bench. You have plenty of depth. And then we go out there and we cut Jordan Love to see if we can pick up an exciting running back off the waiver wire. I think we'd do that. Fisher says 12-team full BBR. We have Mahomes, Bijan, Gibbs, Tyreek, Flowers, Pitts, Lockett. The bench, we have Dobbs, Reynolds, Higbee, Stroud, Herbert. Any moves we should look to make? If it is a 1 quarterback format, we cannot get away with rostering Patrick Mahomes, CJ Stroud, and Justin Herbert. If it is a 1 quarterback redraft league, you need to take Justin Herbert. You need to send him with Tyler Lockett, get the best upgrade for the flex you can. You need to take CJ Stroud and send him with Zay Flowers, get the best upgrade at wide receiver you can. When you have Mahomes, the value that you get from Mahomes is being able to roster him at quarterback and him alone. We don't be having to hold on to this other depth here either. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are about 70 likes away from hitting 1,000 likes on this live stream. If you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this stream. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. We have live streamed every single day for 164 days in a row, not stopping until 2024. And of course, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to be getting a 100% deposit match up to $100, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And if you are new to Underdog Fantasy, on Thursday, you're going to be getting a Patrick Mahomes special pick'em, more than less than half the total yard. And it doesn't matter if you've been on Underdog for 3 years, 2 years, a year, a day, today, tomorrow. As long as you signed up with promo code FLOCK, Underdog's hooking everybody up for our birthday with the Justin Herbert special pick'em on Monday night, more than less than half a total yard as well. So please make sure y'all taking advantage of that. It would be by far and away the best birthday present you could get me. Going and depositing $10 on Underdog with code FLOCK. But Roble says Bijan, Pollard, Hall, Walker, Puka, Pittman, Metcalf, Amari, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. Also, what is Piggins' rest of season rankings versus the roster? Happy birthday, Flocon. Appreciate you, my man. We're going to be going Bijan, Pollard at running back. Wide receiver, we are going to be going with Puka, Pittman. Flex, we are going to be going with, I hate to say it, I will flex Kenneth Walker against Cincinnati over Breece Hall against Philadelphia. And then George Pickens is like the last guy on this list. Like, I'd rather flex every single player that you listed here than George Pickens. Rich says, my guy Jacob continues to not believe in the flock. He moves on to 0-5 this week. His defense is that he has a top 3 points against, but highest points for. Can you roast him again? Jacob, my man, you don't believe in the flock. It clearly shows. You don't believe in defense. It clearly shows. Crying about having the most points scored against you. Are you the Denver Broncos? Do you have Sean Payton going out here going, oh my gosh, we wouldn't be so bad if we just didn't have so many points being scored against? Stop someone, my man. Stop someone. Play some defense for the love of God. Okay, so Miles coming out saying 10-team PPR. We have Allen, Kamara, Swift, Hall, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Diggs, Ridley, Hopkins, Warren, Spears, Ingram, Goddard, Jameson, Michael Wilson. I'm 2-3. Got offered Pollard for Swift and offered Eckler for Kamara and Ridley. What are your thoughts? I would sell in a 10-team league Alvin Kamara and Calvin Ridley for Austin Eckler. I think we would do that. And then I would rather have Tony Pollard over DeAndre Swift in a full PPR format as well. You actually have Kenneth Gainwell taking some of this work from DeAndre Swift, as painful as it is. Now, Geeb coming out saying 10-team PPR single flex, 2-3. We need a running back. Mahomes, Henry, Javonte, Jaleel, Spears, Diggs, Thielen, Metcalf, Higgins, Boyd, Ferguson. Should we trade DK for Dameon Pierce? I don't mind buying Dameon Pierce given the fact that's a running back that's expanding his role and the offense is getting healthier. The efficiency has been horrible, which I expect to change at some point, but you are paying up a little bit too much there. Now, P. Diddy says, what's up, brother? 12-team Superflex Dynasty start 10. We have HN not competing for 2 years. Do I sell HN for Purdy straight up, or do we be holding? Thinking Purdy's a safer investment over time. Any other better ideas? I mean, I would always opt to sell for future picks if you are just for sure rebuilding. Then that's the safest investment you could make. So if you could somehow sell like HN and get a future of 2 future first, that's a no-brainer in its 12-team Superflex Dynasty League where we are rebuilding. Purdy is interesting, and I would agree that, yeah, honestly, probably would make more sense to invest into the quarterback over the long haul, right? Especially when both players are very young. Joe says 4-1, 12-team PPR. Allen, Purdy, Etienne, Hall, Chuba, Jaleel, Jefferson, Puka, Hopkins, London, Myers, Atwell, Ingram, Waller. What players do we go after in a trade? So when we have both Ingram and Waller, we have 2 startable tight ends. I would love to see if we could take one of these guys and send them with DeAndre Hopkins to go get up to like the CeeDee Lamb range of wide receiver. I think that make a lot of sense. The issue is I don't know if we're going to have too many people excited to trade for one of these tight ends. Give more, happy to see you, my man. And we are going to get you a hat and shirt out soon. The Morning Man is so freaking clutch. You have no idea. Compared to the whatever liquid IV caffeine I was having earlier. Oh my gosh, this feels so much better. But anyway, my guy, rough week, 10-team full BBR, 3-2. We have Hurts, CMC, Bijan, Etienne, Jefferson, Puka, Ferguson. And then on the bench, we have Waddle, Watson, Madison, Dobbs, Fields. Would you trade Fields and Ferguson for Thielen and Ingram? If not, any moves? I like the idea. I do like the idea. However, I would say if you are looking at Justin Fields' overall price point, you just simply need to be charging more. Like if you say Ferguson and Ingram's like a 1.5 point per game difference, going from Justin Fields to Adam Thielen it's just not nearly enough. I understand wanting to pick up another wide receiver with the injury that we have to Jefferson. I would rather sell like Fields and Ferguson straight up for someone like, say, TJ Hawkinson, you know. If we could do that, I think that'd make so much sense. Okay. And also, if y'all want to check out a really cool green drink, has caffeine, Give More sent it to us. It's immaculate. Got me off energy drinks last year for good. Look up Morning Man. I don't have a link on me, but look up Morning Man drink. Super good. Prada Pink Slips coming out saying, happy birthday. Thank you, my friend. 12-team PBR 3-2. We have Dak, Love, Pollard, Etienne, Sanders, Roschon, Hill, Amari, London, Johnson, Reed, Dotson, Hawkinson, and Musgrave. Any suggestions? It'd be really nice if we could take Musgrave and go sit him for an upgrade elsewhere when we have Hawkinson. Like if we can send Musgrave in London and go get a better wide receiver for the flex, or Musgrave and Sanders and go get a better running back for the flex, I think that make a lot of sense. Obviously, I mean, if we make that deal as well, maybe we have a running back or a wide receiver that's expendable then at that point where we can parlay that and go get a better quarterback as well. Now, Luke says 12-team PBR double flex 3-2. Stafford, Puka, Kupp, Etienne, Hall, JT, Ayuk, Gabe Davis, Flowers, Moss, Deontay Hunt, Kincaid. Thoughts on the rest of the season? Starting 3 Rams seems crazy. I mean, we just have the double stack. I think it seems completely normal. I think you've done a phenomenal job, my man. I mean, if you are looking at this, you're in a spot where you have, say, Breece Hall breaking out now. Cut back. Jonathan Taylor back. And we're 3-2. It's only uphill from here. It's only downhill. I don't know what the phrase is. It's only going to get better. So I think you're in a good spot. We just roll with it, my friend. Now, Citrus Track says 12-team single flex PBR 2-3. Diggs, Puka, Kupp, Ayuk, McLaurin, London, Bijan, Montgomery, Ford, Akers, Andrews, Musgrave, Lawrence, Stafford. What do we need and what do we trade? Okay. We have a ton of wide receiver depth here. I mean, we have a great tight end as well. I mean, there's not much we can do outside of possibly upgrading quarterback. If you wanted to send, like, say, Brandon Ayuk and Trevor Lawrence to see if we can go get a Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, that'd be an absolute no-brainer to single flex league where we're already this loaded at wide receiver. But really, that'd be the only thing that we would be looking to do, my man. Check says, happy birthday, my guy. Stay doing the Lord's work. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much. Rylo says, I have too many wide receivers with Chase, Kupp, Puka, Thielen, Pittman, McLaurin, and Michael Thomas. With only Walker and Stevenson as good running backs, only Walker is a good running back. Which wide receiver should we try to trade and for who? If you could send Kupp for Eckler, I think that makes sense. If you could send Kupp for Bijan, I think that makes sense. If you could sell Puka for Pollard, I think that makes sense. If you could sell Puka for ETN, I think that makes sense. Thielen, probably not going to get a lot through trade. Obviously, he's producing. Probably one of holds. And then when it comes to, like, Pittman, I mean, Pittman, you'd be looking at the Rachaad White, Raheem Mostert range. Sorry, not Raheem Mostert. Rachaad White, James Cook range. In reality, I don't think you're going to get anything for Michael Thomas or Terry McLaurin. I think you're probably stuck there. But we had 1,000 likes on this live stream. Thank you so much for everybody going down there and hitting that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Now, next question coming out from Peppa Pig, who says, Sup, Mason? Happy birthday, my man. Thank you. I'm 4-1. We have Hurts, Chase, Olave, Jacob, Swift, JT, or Madre, Ertz, Waller, Pittman, Flowers, DJ, London. Looking for a 2-for-1 deal. Don't need it at quarterback. Don't really need it at running back. I mean, if we could sell like Waller and Jacobs, Waller and JT, Waller and Swift, and go get Kelsey, that would be an absolute no-brainer. Or DJ Moore and Waller and go get Kelsey. Or maybe if you want to send like DJ Moore and Ramondre and see if we can go get like an AJ Brown level wide receiver, I think that'd be interesting as well. Phenomenal team. Super happy for you, my man. Thank you for being a long-time member of the flock. Valigro says, happy birthday, 12-team PBR league. We have JT. Should we trade White for Moss? No, I think we'd rather have Rachaad White in a full PBR format, but thank you, my man. Max says, sell DJ Moore. If so, for what? I do not think that DJ Moore is a must-sell player. I was planning on saying that he was a must-sell player, knowing that he was going to have a decent game against Washington, given the matchup. I was like, okay, after this game, it'll be an easy spot to go sell high. But no, he was so damn good that I think we're probably going to be looking to hold on to him, unless we could go get to like the CeeDee Lamb range. But let me refresh this. Our next question, we just got done with Max's question. So we'll be starting off after Max with our next one. And as I refresh, hit that like button if you have not done so already. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to be getting a 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings, plus a Patrick Mahomes special pick'em for Thursday night. More than less than half a total yard if you are new to Underdog Fantasy. And it doesn't matter if you've been new to Underdog Fantasy or you've been on Underdog for a while. For our birthday, Underdog's hooking everybody up with a Justin Herbert special pick'em. More than less than half a total yard going up against Dallas this week, ladies and gentlemen. Please make sure you're taking advantage of that. Underdog never gives away multiple special pick'ems, but you are going to get them if you use promo code FLOCK. And also, it's the best birthday present you could give me. My birthday is in approximately 29 minutes. Now, our next question coming out from Valigro says, happy birthday, 12 team BBR. I have JT. Should we trade White for Moss? No, we already answered that. I apologize. I'm an idiot. DB Gamis says 18 BBR, 3 wide receiver, 3 and 2. We have Lamar, Chase, Lamb, Ayuk, Puka, Flowers, Montgomery, Achane, Hall, Kamara, Aaron Jones, Ford, Kelsey. Phenomenal team. Obviously, 8-team league. Every trade we make, 2-for-1 deal, 3-for-1 deal if we can. But yeah, great team. Really hope Devon Achane is not too seriously injured. But we already have Lamar, Kelsey in that 8-team league with loaded wide receivers, running backs. We're doing a good job as is. D. Dodd says 12-team PPR. We have Burrow, Kyron, Jaleel, Liam, Evans, Godwin, Ferguson. Lost Chubb and have 0 depth. Any advice? Keep it up. Love the videos. Thank you, my man. I think you're already doing a good job. You're already doing what you kind of want, right? We don't have enough wide receiver firepower. We don't have enough tight end firepower we can trade for a running back. So really it just comes down to turning the waiver wire and every week playing someone like Jaleel, right? So this week that may be DeMercado. And Garrett says, thoughts on Rachaad White? Should we trade Hollywood for him? Yes, I would. Rachaad White's a running back that's already through his bye and is seeing every single touch out of his backfield. Kojin says, 10-team PBR. We have Mahomes, Bijan, Pollard, Ridley, Keenan, Barkley, Goddard. And then on the bench, we have Watson, Flowers, London, Stroud. Should I hold or make a big-time trade? One thing I would do is just get rid of CJ Stroud for literally anything. If we have Mahomes, we're chilling. We don't need Stroud. If you could send Stroud and Goddard just to pivot to a tight end that maybe you like a little bit more in the long term, then sure, do it. If you want to send Stroud and London and go get a slightly better receiver, Stroud and Watson, and get a slightly better wide receiver, I would. And also, in this kind of format where you're loaded at wide receiver, I think we would like to go through and pick up another running back off the waiver wire possible. But that's a phenomenal team. Now, Juan says, 4-1, we have JT, Hall, Gibbs, Hill, AJ Brown, Ridley, Olave, Watson, Dell. What's the most you would trade for Jefferson? And what's the most you would trade for Swift? I would send AJ Brown for Justin Jefferson right now at a 4-1 roster. Even with the Jefferson injury, of course, we'd be super happy to just throw in someone like Dell just to get it done. And then in terms of trading for DeAndre Swift, I don't really see a trade that makes a lot of sense. Can everybody spam the chat? Who would you rather have rest of season? Would you rather have DeAndre Swift or Breece Hall? DeAndre Swift or Breece Hall, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know. Let me know. Hall, Swift, Hall, Swift, Hall, Hall, Swift, Swift, Swift. Swift, 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 Swift. So it does look like most people would rather have DeAndre Swift. And if you're asking about DeAndre Swift, maybe you would as well. I think that they're close. But if you wanted to send, like, say, Breece Hall and, like, that depth guy like Tank Dell and go get Swift, we could do that as well. Gabe says, I give Herbert Pollard for Mahomes Mixon. What are your thoughts? Happy birthday. Thank you, my man. Fair deal. Up to you. I probably would rather have the Herbert Pollard side, to be honest. Jeff says, 10-team league, single flex. We have Hurts, Montgomery, Kyron, Puka, Kupp, Smith, Hawkinson. And then on the bench, we have Baker, drop Baker. Pickens, Myers, Reynolds, Dobbs, drop Dobbs. Lots of week 10 buys. Don't be worrying about a bye week in week 10. I mean, we're rostering way too many wide receivers and not enough running backs here. I mean, we are rostering right now Puka, Kupp, Smith, Pickens, Myers, Reynolds, Dobbs. We're rostering 7 wide receivers and we see 2 running backs on the team. So yeah, cut Baker, maybe make like a trade Pickens and Myers and go get a slightly better wide receiver and then go pick up another running back with that waiver wire spot. Just balance out the depth here a bit. Try to find the next Kyron Williams. History Gaming says, I am trading Chase, Laporta, Hollywood for Kupp, Walker, and Schultz. I need running backs really bad, and we have Jefferson and Collins. Laporta to Schultz, downgrade. Hollywood to Walker, upgrade. Chase the Cooper Kupp, downgrade as well. I don't know. I don't love it. Yeah, I do not love that, my man. I don't love it. Jevin says, no underdog in Michigan. Am I a bad person for fleecing my friends and family in trades? I don't know. I mean, I remember back in high school playing, like convincing my friends to play fantasy football with me. And they knew I was like diehard in fantasy. They knew I played like 20 dynasty leagues year round. And they were like the most casual people you could ever imagine. And I was ruthless with them back then, but I was also in high school. Now, full transparency, I'm not in any leagues with people like, I'm not in a family league, you know. I'm not playing fantasy football with my mom. So I don't know how I would behave in a league like that right now, but RT says just traded Ertz, Pitts, and Flowers for Hawkinson. What are your thoughts? Oh, I think I would rather have Hawkinson here. I don't think Ertz is someone that we have to worry about too much. So we traded Pitts and Flowers for Hawkinson. Give me Hawkinson, especially with the Jefferson injury. Max Prestige coming out saying 0-5 tonight. Should I even try? Let me know your thoughts. It's a 12-team PPR format where we have Hurts, Kamara, Pacheco, Kupp, Kirk, Zach Ertz, Watson, Rice, Tucker, and then on the bench, Spears, Tajee, Zay, Amon-Ra. Okay, so we had the Pat Frymuth injury. We had the Alvin Kamara suspension. We had the Cooper Kupp injury. We had the Christian Watson injury. So this has been a team that is decimated in terms of making trades, and we had the Amon-Ra St. Brown injury. The only thing that I would say is if Amon-Ra St. Brown looks like he is going to miss this week, you need to go through and you need to trade Amon-Ra St. Brown and Christian Kirk and get someone in this lineup today that is going to score you points. Or Amon-Ra St. Brown and Rashee Rice and get someone that's going to score you points today. I won my first fantasy football championship starting off 1-4. 0-5, you can still make the playoffs, but you need to treat it as if you're in the playoffs right now. It is win or go home time for you, my friend. Alex says, 12-team PPR, I'm 5-0, but weak at running back. The team is Jalen Hurts, White, Madison, Chase, Puka, St. Brown, Debo, Laporta, Jaleel, Rice, Johnston. Wanted to trade for Cook and Addison or Flowers. Their team's 1-4. Happy birthday. Thank you, my man. So Cook and Addison, for Cook and Addison. Okay, if their team's 1-4. So if we're going to be trading for Cook and Addison and selling some short-term production, if you could sell like Debo, I think that'd make a lot of sense. Like if you wanted to go Debo and Jaleel and see if we can get back James Cook and Jordan Addison, I think that makes a lot of sense. Or, I mean, Zay Flowers here, right? Because both these rookies you expect to get better as the season progresses. And I would imagine, honestly, it's probably going to be a little bit tougher to go through and trade for Jordan Addison with the Jefferson injury, even from a team that's 1-4. Now, Jeremy says 6-team super flex. We're 3-2. We have Mahomes, Fields, Saquon, Kamara, Henry, Mostert, JT, Puka, Ridley, Olave, Pittman, Kelsey, Ingram, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs to start week 6, and any wide receiver upgrades. Happy birthday. Thank you, my man. Here we're going to be starting probably Henry, Kamara, unless HN misses. Then you can pivot to Mostert. Wide receiver, we are going to be going with, I haven't made our wide receiver rankings this week. I'd imagine we have Puka, Ridley at the very top. And then if you wanted to upgrade a wide receiver, maybe we could send like Evan Ingram and Pittman and go get a better receiver. Maybe. Abraham says, any changes we should make? Purdy and streamers, Mixon, Jacobs, Jerome, Warren, Jefferson, AJ, Ridley, Pickens, Addison, Sutton. I would say this is a team that has enough wide receiver depth in the long term to go out there and see if we can get an upgrade over Brock Purdy at quarterback. Like if you wanted to send George Pickens and Brock Purdy and get someone you're a little bit more excited about. In the short term, maybe it's going to be a little bit tougher to do it considering the fact that we do have Justin Jefferson banged up. Joey, always happy to see you, says 10-team single flex, currently 2-3. We have Lamar, Jacobs, Kyron, Mixon, Breece, Brian Robinson, Tyreek, Amari, Ayuk, Pickens, Watson, Addison, Hawkinson. Always make the wrong starts and lose. Who are my starters week by week? Okay. Typically, when you do that, that just means we have too many startable players and we're looking to make 2-for-1 deals and get upgrades in the starting lineup. I think George Pickens is a potential sell high candidate. I mean, he was a buy low guy for us after week 1. I mean, if we could go through and sell, say, George Pickens and Joe Mixon and go get a better running back, or George Pickens and Brian Robinson and go get a better wide receiver, just because we have so many startable players here that this is kind of the frustration with it, right? It's like, how do you submit a starting lineup there? How do you? Now, Forrest says, 10-team PPR, we have Lamar, Swift, JT, Jefferson, Puka, Waddle, Debo, Ingram, Gibbs, Michael Thomas, Ford, and Rice. We got offered Laporta and Olave for Debo Samuel. I would much prefer Laporta and Olave over Debo Samuel. I think you make an argument for Olave over Debo straight up. Getting Laporta on top of it is a no-brainer. David says, should we trade Henry or JT in Kyron for Puka? Hell to the no. 10-team happy BR, happy birthday, by the way. Thank you, my man. Yeah. I mean, you can make an argument that Kyron Williams is more valuable than than Puka straight up. You can make an argument that JT is more valuable than Puka straight up now that Cooper Kupp's back in. I'm not saying that they are, but I'm just saying they're right there. So to trade both of them for Puka, I don't like it. Now, Jordan says, 10-team BBR, single flex, 2 and 3. Richardson, Daniel Jones, Bijan, Walker, Gibbs, Madison, Ford, Hunt, Diggs, Adams, Nico, Deontay, Judy, Johnson, Waller. What should we do at quarterback? Goff, Cobb, Dobbs, Pickett are on waivers, or do we trade for one? So 2 and 3 team where we need points in the lineup right now. If you could send maybe like Deontay Johnson and Anthony Richardson and go get someone like Joe Burrow, I think that makes sense. Obviously, I'd have rather had Anthony Richardson over Burrow last week, but if you are looking at the injury that we have here, it probably just makes a lot of sense to pivot off of Anthony Richardson on a 2 and 3 roster. We get the Richardson injury. We get the Daniel Jones injury. See, I think you can't afford to trade for a quarterback here with that wide receiver depth. And send them Anthony Richardson, because, I mean, you're not going to have to go through and pay a ton if we're sending him a player that's exciting. Moran says, 10-team PBR super flex. I have the ability to trade for Josh Allen, Mark Andrews, Buffalo defense, and Mostert for Herbert, Kelsey, Swift, Washington. Should I do it? So Allen for Herbert, downgrade. Andrews for Kelsey, massive upgrade. Buffalo to Washington, downgrade. Mostert to Swift, upgrade. If it's this close, like this is on the table, say, hey, man, I'll do it, but let me keep the Buffalo defense. I'll do it, but let me keep Buffalo and you keep Washington. I think you probably do it. It's up to your personal preference. I just view Kelsey in a completely different tier than Mark Andrews. I would try to keep the Buffalo defense, though. Now, Allison says 10-team full BBR. We have Herbert, Bijan, Diggs, Andrews, Walker, Montgomery, Myers, Judy, Amari. Any suggestions? Currently sitting at 4 and 1. I don't have a lot. This is a phenomenal team, my friend. I think we just sit on our hands and ride this out. I mean, if you wanted to go trade for a long-term upside piece, like if you could send like Myers and go get Addison or Flowers, that'd be an absolute no-brainer. Freddie says, happy birthday, my man. Best fantasy content on YouTube. I'd say we're top 100, but thank you, my man. Really appreciate you. Sean says, would you trade Laporta for CeeDee Lamb? Yes, yes, yes. Even in an 8-team league. Go get Lamb. Now, Freeway Flick says 10-team full BBR format. We have Tua, Najee, Javonte, Diggs, AJ, Hollywood, Hopkins, Frymuth, Musgrave, Conklin. Got offered Garrett Wilson, Aaron Jones for Diggs, Najee. Offer us Pacheco, Swift to 1 and 4. Need some help. Okay, so Najee Harris to Aaron Jones. Give me Aaron Jones. I think most people would agree with that. Going from Diggs, though, is just way too much. Like you do, Trading Diggs for Garrett Wilson and Aaron Jones, we just can't do. I understand that we need help at running back. Maybe if you wanted to trade Diggs for Aaron Jones, Garrett Wilson, and DeAndre Swift, then sure, But you are giving up the elite player. You are giving up the majority of the value. You are taking on the majority of the risk. Yeah, at that price point, you can't do it. James says, I just wanted to flex because somehow this team's 2-3. Lawrence, Goff, Ridley, Amon-Ra, Amari, Deontay, Elijah, Judy, Etienne, Ford, Breece, Montgomery, Waller. Seems like a middle of the road team, my man. I don't know why. I don't know why that team would be surprising that it's 2-3 now. We've had some injuries. We had the Lawrence, Ridley down weeks. Going forward, I think you should be in a really good spot. I mean, but Lawrence and Ridley have been down. I don't know if you're surprised that that team should be way higher or the team shouldn't have won 2 games. I think we'll be better, though. Now, Fonzie says, PBR trade Laporta and receive Kyron and Pickens. Yes, I will trade Laporta and get Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams being utilized as a 3-down running back at the moment. Now, Crispy Cash says 3-2, 10-team full PBR. We have Fields, Jacobs, Kupp, Olave, Hawkinson, Achane, Etienne, Pacheco, Michael Thomas, Dell, Khalil. What moves should we make? We have the depth to pull it off. I mean, if we can go through, if we can sell Michael Thomas and Justin Fields, throw in Dell, who cares? Dell you can cut at this point. I mean, like Justin Fields, Michael Thomas, Dell, and go get Allen, go get Mahomes, go get Hurts. We do it. Outside of that, the rest of the starting lineup, very well balanced. Really like the team. And we just really have to hope that Devon Achane is good to go. Jared says, happy birthday. Thank you so much, my man. And yeah, we got officially 13 minutes until it is our birthday. 13 minutes until the big 2-5. Skrill says, hey, Mason, should we trade CeeDee Lamb and Alvin Kamara for Austin Eckler? Appreciate you being a member of the flock for so damn long, my man. And 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league, I'm fine doing so. If it's like a 12-team league with multiple flex spots or a 14-team format, then it'll be a little bit tougher. 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league, I think you pulled the trigger. Rawlings, a long-time member of the flock as well, happy to see us, says 12-team PPR, 2-3. We have Tua, Etienne, Eckler, Olave, Amari, Musgrave, Hollywood. And then on the bench, we have Dell, JSN, Zay, London, Madison, Roshan, Charbonnet. Any moves? Do I use Eckler to go for Pacheco, Kupp, and upgrade wide receiver 1? Worried about Olave rest of season. Okay. I'm not worried about Olave rest of season. I think it's just the function of the Derek Carr shoulder injury. I mean, the first 3 games, he averaged over 100 total yards per game. He was getting double-digit targets per week. I think, yeah, the Olave ankle injury this week. You had the Derek Carr shoulder injury over the past 2 weeks. I think he will be better. We have JSN for the long-term upside. We have enough depth here where we don't have to make a move like this. I would say, my friend, you're probably underestimating the ceiling that you're going to get from Aaron Jones rest of season. I think that we probably want to be holding on to Aaron Jones here. I think you have Austin Eckler. I'm being an idiot. Austin Eckler. I think you have a very good team here. I think you're in a position where we're fortunate where we can sit on our hands and just hold for this long-term upside. So no, I hate to say it. I know that it's the worst answer. I think you have a fine team. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If you wanted to send like Hollywood and London and see if we can go get Waddle to stack with 2, I would like that even more. But I don't think the answer is to trade Eckler for Pacheco and Kupp. I think you're going to be just fine. But Joey says, happy birthday, Mason. Have a good one. Thank you, my man. Thank you. Now, Jack says 12-team league. We have Fields, Kyron, Achane, Chase, Ridley, Ferguson, Breece, Jonathan Taylor, Charbonnet, Gabe Davis, Dell, Madison, Stroud, Jameson. What moves should we make? We put up 220 this week. Congrats, my man. You've heard me say it over and over again, but if we can take Dell, if we can take Gabe Davis, if we can take Jameson, take a depth bench wide receiver, send him with Fields for a top 3 quarterback, we would. Outside of that, very well balanced team. I mean, we have Breece and JT coming in at running back. Long-term will be in a really good spot at RB, even if Achane is injured. I mean, I'm looking to sell Madison if we can as well, just given the fact that he's in that committee. He's not talented enough to overcome the committee. So if we can sell like Madison and maybe Dell and go get an upgrade at running back, I think that'd be interesting. But overall, very well-balanced team. I think you can be chilling as is. Can I Be Great says, I'm getting offered Dameon Pierce, Nico Waller for Puka. I'm light at running back and Achane is injured. We have Cup, so I was looking forward to the stack. I'm 1-4. Should we accept this? Okay. Pierce is getting volume. Nico's in a good spot with no Tank Dell. I don't know who our tight end is, but Waller is a tight end 1. The scenarios in which I accept this, if it is a 12-team league with multiple flex spots, sure, you can accept it. If it is a 14 or more team league, then yes, accept it. If it is a 10-team league, you have to hold on to the best player. You have to hold on to Puka, especially if it's a 10-team league with only one flex. Very interesting spot there without knowing all the details. Now, Jerome says 10-team PBR, 2-3. We have Allen, Richardson, Saquon, Hall, Henry, Jacobs, JT. Wide receivers aren't producing enough. Olave, Smith, Collins, Amari, Higgins. What are your thoughts? Wide receivers will be much better going forward. You're going to be just fine. Now, we have so much production here that if we wanted to take Anthony Richardson and send him with Nico Collins and go get a long-term upgrade at wide receiver, we can be completely fine with it with Josh Allen. Obviously, we're not going to get a ton now that we have Josh Allen. I mean, now that we have Anthony Richardson injured, we should have sold Richardson last week, but still a deal that I would be looking to make. And overall, I mean, you have so much depth. Any 2-for-1 deal is almost going to be advantageous for you here. Now, Maserati says trade CD, Pittman, Sanders for Walker, Ridley. CD to Ridley, downgrade. Pittman and Sanders for Walker. Lateral move, slight upgrade. Obviously, you'd rather have Walker over Sanders, but adding Pittman maybe a little bit too much. I think I'd probably keep who I believe to be the best player in the deal. I'd probably keep CeeDee Lamb. Adrian says, thoughts on the HN injury? I literally have no idea what it is. I don't think anybody does. Also, Kmet or Thomas, rest of season. Half PPR. I'll probably go Cole Kmet rest of season. I mean, he's had the consistent target volume. Now, Ben says 2-3, 12-team league. We have Hurts, Walker, JT, HN, Jefferson, Ridley, Pittman, Pitts, Kincaid, JSN, Quentin Johnson, Charbonnet, Jameson. Not sure what to do at tight ends. If you could sell high on Kyle Pitts after a strong performance, it makes sense. Kincaid's going into the concussion protocol. Kincaid's just going to be a long-term play. The issue is, like, what can we sell Pitts for? Like, you're not going to be able to get Kittle anymore. He was our previous buy low candidate at the tight end position. If you wanted to sell Pitts and pivot over to Waller, then sure, you can. And I don't mind actually selling Pitts. Even if I drafted a lot of Pitts in round 7. Like, I drafted a lot more Pitts this year than I did Darren Waller. But also, I mean, I was not expecting it to be a situation where you were getting Jonnu Smith involved at all. Now, G. Medina says, happy birthday to the Fantasy Goat. About 5 minutes, it'll be our birthday, but thank you, my man. My 2 quarterbacks are Love and Russ. Fields is on the waiver wire. Dropped him week 4. Do I pick him up and oh, hell yes. Drop Russ and Love immediately and go get Justin Fields. That'd be an absolute no-brainer. Yasha says, happy birthday, becoming a big fan and a regular. Thank you so much. I want to offer Pickens and White for Jahmyr Gibbs. Is it a good move? 12-team. HN, Hall, Taylor, and White. So we are just thinking long-term upside here. We have a great running back room. I do think that Gibbs has long-term upside, but selling Pickens and White for Jahmyr Gibbs will probably just be a little bit too much at this point, especially with Gibbs dealing with the hamstring injury. I like the idea. I think we just need a cheaper price. Okay. Not so good gaming coming out says, happy birthday, man. That Herbert Pick'em and Love got me $200 incoming. Hell yes. Super happy to hear that, my man. 10 TBBR, 1 flex. Kirk, Stroud, Kyron, Walker, Hall, Sanders, Diggs, CD, Dobbs, Hawkinson, Laporta. Where should we look to upgrade? So, I mean, you want to upgrade quarterback. Go get a quarterback that we're excited about. Go get someone with rushing upside like Lamar Jackson. If you could sell, say, Sam Laporta and Kirk Cousins, or Sam Laporta and CJ Stroud, and go get a quarterback like Lamar, that's just an absolute no-brainer when we have TJ Hawkinson that we're going to start every single week regardless. And based off the deals that we have seen so far today regarding Sam Laporta, I mean, it's honestly it's a deal that's reasonable to maybe see that we could get. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you want that Justin Herbert special pick'em on Underdog Fantasy, Underdog's giving it to everybody for our birthday. If you use promo code FLOCK, doesn't matter if it was 2 years ago, last year, this year, yesterday, today, or tomorrow, you're going to be getting a Justin Herbert special pick'em on Monday night. Make sure you are taking advantage of that. And also, ladies and gentlemen, if you are new to Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK, you're going to get an additional Patrick Mahomes special pick'em more than less than half a total yard for Thursday night. And you're going to get a 100% deposit match and our rest of season fantasy football rankings. By far and away the best birthday present you could give me. Our birthday's in about 4 minutes. And go take advantage of everything we got you hooked up with on Underdog. So happy we were able to get y'all all that. Jacob says, does Jacoby with his consistent performance with Jimmy G have him locked in as a wide receiver too? Big love to the flock. We're the fantasy community. Appreciate you, my man. And we talked about this at the beginning, but I do think that we can say that you probably have Jacoby Myers as a locked and loaded top 24 wide receiver, considering the fact that now at this point, I mean, you do have 3 weeks with Jimmy G where Myers has been dominant, but keep in mind, Adams was banged up this week. Fair. Okay, this is not going to change anything, my man. And Anthony says, is Jonathan Taylor a trade high target right now? No. I mean, I would look to be buying JT. Lockett and Tutu, a decent trade. I would way rather have Jonathan Taylor over Lockett and Tutu, if that's what you're asking. Way rather JT over them. Now, Ted coming out saying, 1-4, 10-team, full BBR, triple flex. We have Burrow, Pollard, Achane, Diggs, Lamb, Andrews, St. Brown, Watson, White. And then on the bench, we have Reynolds, Sanders, London, Roshan, Anthony Richardson, Jerry Jeudy. Any moves? Traded Flowers and Kirk for St. Brown. I really like that move. Now in a triple flex league, we're probably going to want to hold on to the actual depth that we have. If we are 1-4, if we can take the long-term upside of someone like Anthony Richardson and sit him with someone in the starting lineup or someone right outside like Miles Sanders to get an upgrade right now, I think that makes a lot of sense because while Anthony Richardson has a lot of long-term upside and maybe he can be really exciting for a player that is 4-1, that is 5-0, he's not really going to be too exciting for us in particular when we're sitting here at 1-4. So I think that is something we can do, but great team. I'm surprised you're 1-4. Chris coming out saying 16-team at BBR format. Trade Jacobs, Richardson, Goff, and Sanders for Allen, Najee, Calvin Ridley. Rest of the starting lineup is Lamb, Puka, Andrews, and Zach Charbonnet. So 16-team league quarterback's going to be very hard to come by. Miles Sanders, Najee Harris, they're the same. Take them out. Would I rather have Jacobs and Anthony Richardson or Josh Allen and Calvin Ridley? In a 16-team format, I think we are going to go ahead. I think we are going to just take Josh Allen. Let's take Josh Allen. Let's take Calvin Ridley. I mean, it's going to be hard to overcome that Anthony Richardson injury because you can't go to it's going to be hard to go to the waiver wire in a 16-team league and just say, okay, well, let's stream quarterback. Now, Vexify coming out saying 12-team PPR with one flex. We have Richardson, Gino. Running back is Stevenson, JT, Gainwell, Justice Hill, Chuba, Dillon. Wide receiver, we have Diggs, Puka, CD, Godwin, Zay. We lost Anthony Richardson, need a running back upgrade. What are your thoughts? Yeah, so now it's going to be difficult to go out there and trade for said running back upgrade after losing Anthony Richardson. I mean, I like that we're rostering as many running backs as we possibly can on the team. I think you're already kind of doing what we want to, right? I mean, if this is Zay Flowers, then Zay Flowers does have a considerable amount of value. If you could take Zay Flowers and Ramondre Stevenson to go get to a startable running back on a week-to-week perspective, then that would be something we look to go ahead and do. But as it stands now, I mean, it is very hard to imagine that we're going to be able to trade Ramondre Stevenson for anything, right? Probably just have to wait until we actually see something. Okay. Our next question coming out from, I believe, Clarkus, who always says, always out here, says, happy birthday, Mason. 3-2, 14-team BBR, single flex. We have Herbert, James Cook, Javonte, White, Ford, Jefferson, Allen, Waddle, Olave, Downs, Pitts, and Ertz. What are your thoughts? And yeah, it is officially our birthday. It is midnight. We are now 25, ladies and gentlemen. God. I mean, the hairline's already bad. It's only going downhill from here until we go to Turkey and get a new one. But anyway, I think it's a very well-balanced team in a 14-team format. It will be helping a lot now that we have White and Ford back from the bye. Probably not looking to do too much beyond this. And yeah, thank you everybody in the chat. I see all the nice messages. Thank you so much. And I'm just trying to think. Because in a 14-team league, depth matters more, right? We have Keenan through the bye now, which will help a lot. But now we have the Jefferson injury. So we get our players through the bye. So we get our depth back. Then we immediately lose our top guy where we actually need our depth at the moment. So I think it's a team that is very well constructed. But I don't necessarily know if there are going to be too many moves that we want to go ahead and make at the moment until Jefferson is back. But Brandon says, 10-team at BBR, 2 quarterbacks, double flex. I'm 2 and 3. We have Lawrence, Purdy, Eckler, Montgomery, Diggs, Olave, Ingram, DJ, Hollywood. And then on the bench, we have Pierce, Jaleel, Myers, JSN, Ertz. Feel like I need a quarterback upgrade. Do I package Lawrence or Purdy? Hold, happy birthday. Thank you so much, my man. Thank you. Okay. It would be nice to get a quarterback upgrade in a 2 QB league. Now, the question is like, we're starting Eckler, we're starting Montgomery, we're starting Diggs, we're starting Olave. It's a double flex format, so we're starting DJ and Hollywood. Down there on the bench, who can we package with to get a quarterback upgrade? If you could somehow send like Jacoby Myers and Trevor Lawrence or Jacoby Myers and Brock Purdy, and go out of your way and get back someone like Lamar Jackson, then that would be an absolute no-brainer. In reality, it's much easier said than done. In reality, you're probably not going to be able to make that move. I don't think this team has a ton of depth with it being a double flex format. I like the roster. I mean, obviously, if we can go sell Hollywood, we would do it as well. If you can go Hollywood and Trevor Lawrence and go get Lamar, let's do it. And that I'll do that in 1 quarterback or a 2 QB league. Jared says, what 2 out of DeMarcado, Rice, Down, Zay, and Spears? I'm assuming this is Zay Jones. If it's Zay Flowers, he is the number 1 pickup. Then DeMarcado is the other guy. And then if that's Zay Jones, then we're going to go DeMarcado and Josh. No, we're going to go Tajay Spears. Because if Henry goes down, you have Spears the league winner. Now, Eric says 1 and 4, CMC, Godwin, Lawrence. For Lamb, Kamara, Andrews, Cousins. Cousins to Lawrence. Give me Lawrence. Lamb to Godwin. Give me Lamb easily. The thing is, let's take out the quarterbacks. Give me Lawrence. Whatever I have, Kamara, Lamb, Andrews, or CMC and Chris Godwin. It's CMC and it's not even close. CMC is just a completely different asset here in fantasy football at this point. And we need to refresh this so we can keep bringing these questions up. Tim will be our next question. Just saying this out loud so I remember. And as I do this, please, let me remind you, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And if you want to check out any of those pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, promo code FLOCK, 100% deposit match, our rest of season fantasy football rankings. And for our birthday, Underdog set up everybody who uses promo code FLOCK with a Justin Herbert special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard on Monday night. And if you're new to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, you'll also get a Patrick Mahomes special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard on Thursday. Underdog never does that. They hooked us up for our birthday, so please make sure you are taking advantage, ladies and gentlemen. Tim says, happy birthday. Who to trade for a running back 1? We have Keenan, Smith, Waddle, Pittman, DJ, Puka, Gibbs, Algier, Edwards, standard scoring 10-team league. Who to target? We have so much wide receiver depth. You're going to have to sell a wide receiver that people actually like. Let's send Puka and Algier. Let's go get Travis Etienne. Let's send DJ Moore and Jahmyr Gibbs. And let's go get Josh Jacobs. You know. But yes, 100% I agree. Let's sell some of this wide receiver depth. And don't try to go like, oh, I'm going to go sell Devonta Smith. I'm going to go sell Waddle. Don't try to sell someone who's not producing. Go throw someone on the block that's been putting up points because, I mean, we want to actually get that trade done, and you're going to have to give up something people are excited about. Josh says, JT Amari, Brian Robinson for Madison, St. Brown, ETN. So Etienne over Brian Robinson. Or let's go Etienne, JT, take him out. They're about the same. St. Brown and Madison versus Amari and Brian Robinson. Give me St. Brown and Madison. So I'm going to go with the Etienne St. Brown side. You'd be getting JT. Don't do it. We have Walker, Kamara, Tyreek, Adams, Thielen. I really do like Jonathan Taylor. I think he does have a very high ceiling rest of season. I just think the Etienne side does have more value here. Now, Thompson says Pollard and Amon-Ra for Eckler. Ooh, 8-team league. Okay, if this was a 12-team format, I'd say no. In an 8-team league, if it's a single flex format, then sure, who cares? Just get the best player. Lil Broomstick says 10-team BBR. We have Lamar, Jefferson, Debo, Henry, Jacobs, Ingram, Hopkins, Connor. On the bench, we have Goddard, Khalil, JSN. Unsure what to do moving forward. Jefferson, Connor are hurt. 10-team league, the injuries will be a little bit easier to overcome. All I'd say is if we have both Evan Ingram and Dallas Goedert, it would be nice if we can sell Dallas Goedert and go get someone in the Rachaad White range to plug and play at running back for this injury, just so we have a little more depth overall. And yeah, with Jefferson, we're just going to have to do the waiver wire. But I think that it does make Goddard, an expendable asset to go plug that hole. In says lost by 2.2 due to only 1.5 from Devontae and 0 from Henry. 4-1 now. That is brutal. My man is still dominating the 20-team league, of course. Hurts, Pickett, Etienne, Chuba, Damian Waddle, Devonta, Puka, Deontay. We are going to get Deontay back week 7, where we'll have a little bit more depth. I thought we did end up making a trade here for an RB2. I guess not. I think while, yes, Devontae and Waddle have been very disappointing as of late, they will be much better going forward. Let's wait until Deontay Johnson is back, and then at that point, if we wanted to go ahead, if we wanted to sell one of these wide receivers to get a long-term solidified difference maker at running back, we can. But what's funny is like Chuba Hubbard is actually viable here. He's the top 40 running back in fantasy, So it's not like we're complete toast at RB2. For this format in particular. Alex says Fields Ridley for Herbert Hall. Fields to Herbert, up to you. Ridley to Hall, up to you. We just traded Pickens, Stevenson, and P. Ryan away for Montgomery and Ridley. I think that made a lot of sense. Great deal. I tried to sell Ridley. Okay, it's a super flex format. Super flex format may be a little more appealing. Can everybody spam the chat? What would y'all rather have rest of season? Would you rather have Justin Herbert and Breece Hall or Justin Fields and Calvin Ridley? Fields and Ridley or Herbert and Hall? I'm probably going to go Herbert and Hall, especially with it being a super flex league, but be interested to see what y'all have to say. We got one vote for Herbert. Herbert. Okay, it looks like everybody's going Herbert Hall. Yeah, everybody's Herbert Hall here. Okay. Yeah, I guess it wasn't even close enough for me to ask the chat. I don't think we even had a single person for arguing for Fields. Now, Stealthy says 10-team PBR, 2 and 3. We have Richardson, Etienne, Swift, HN Diggs, Watson, Hawkinson. And then on the bench, we have St. Brown, JSN, Rice, Sutton, Warren, Saquon, Jaleel, Charbonnet. Going to pick up Purdy. Any trades that we can make. Not necessarily. There's so many question marks on this team. We have the Saquon injury. We have the HN injury. We have the Richardson injury. We have the Amon-Ra St. Brown injury. I think for now, we probably should just be sitting on our hands and see if we're going to get anything different there. Now, Chase coming out saying, would you trade Fields for Ridley if I have Tua? If it is a full BBR format, yes, I would. Aristide says 4-1, 12-team single flex at BBR. We have Fields, Kyler on the IR. Diggs, DJ, Higgins, Watson, Bijan, Etienne, Swift, Pierce, Warren, Javonte, Andrews, Goddard. Should we buy an elite wide receiver or quarterback or sit with the Fields DJ stack? When you have the stack, you're a little bit more inclined to sit still with it. I would still see if we could go out and get a top 3 QB, especially if we can afford it like we can on this roster. Like if you could send, say, Dallas Goedert and Justin Fields and go get to the Mahomes, Allen, Hurts range, I would still look to do that, even if we have DJ Moore, but phenomenal team here. What I really like is at the very bottom end of this team at both running back and wide receiver, we are primarily focusing in on having the elite ceiling at wide receiver and running back. Cheeks Mohique says, trade Ramondre for Addison. I say, probably not. It's close, but I don't know. Now, Harrison says, happy birthday, stay blessed, need help, currently don't have a running back for next week. It's a 12-team PPR. What moves to be make sitting 1 and 4? We have Herbert, Saquon, Aaron Jones, Kupp, Evans, Pittman, Henry, Gabe Davis. I think we just go pick up the starting running back from Arizona off the waiver wire if we can. Worst case scenario, if you can go sell Pittman for James Cook or Rashad White or DeAndre, obviously you're not going to get Swift. But if you could get Swift, then go get Swift. But yeah, I think first we go ahead and we try to solve it off the waiver wire. Second is we trade one of those wide receivers for a mid RB2. Now, Bruce Gaming coming out says 14-team PPR single flex. We have Burrow, Jacobs, Eckler, Kupp, DK, Pickens, Henry, and then on the bench we have Love, Najee, Wan'Dale, Freiermuth, Michael Wilson. Any improvements? 14-team format, depth's going to matter a little bit more. So it makes sense why we were rostering these guys on the bottom end of the team. We get Eckler back in, so we're going to be in a really, really good spot. Yeah, great team. The only thing I'd say is, I would be monitoring the price that you could get for George Pickens right now in trade before you have Deontay back in. The speed attack says someone offered me Brian Robinson for Myers before the game, and we accepted it. Now I'm not sure because of the Brian Robinson inconsistency. I think it's a fair deal dependent on your roster and your team league settings. Now, Ashan says 10-team PPR, should we trade Amari and Rashad White for CeeDee Lamb? 10-team single flex league, give me the best player, which will be Lamb. Eduardo says trade ideas: Burrow, Bijan, Achane, Chase, Olave, Ferguson, Swift, Wilson. On the bench, we have Gainwell, Algier, Nico, Purdy, London, Jeff Wilson Jr. Any ideas? Not necessarily. Will be very interesting to see what we get with Nico Collins going forward, especially if you have no Tank Dell in the short term. And if Nico gets valued as that low-end wide receiver one again, then maybe we know next time to sell him high. I do think that you have him more so as a high-end wide receiver two than like a low-end wide receiver one. Now, Idri Kiz coming out saying, we have Richardson, Love, Pollard, Bijan, Ayuk, Devonta Smith, Ferguson, Rice, Gibbs, Spears, London, Pickens. What moves should I make and who should we target? We are 3-2. Obviously, it'd be nice to have a better quarterback here where we don't have to rely on Jordan Love. I'd go to the waiver wire, see if we can pick up another quarterback that you like. Wide receiver, running back, we're chilling. I think we have a lot of long-term upside down there on the bench. Maybe if you could send like George Pickens and Jordan Love and go get someone like Joe Burrow, I think that would make a lot of sense for this team with the Anthony Richardson injury. Outside of that, we're probably more so just going to be on the lookout and going through and seeing if we can pick up a quarterback off the waiver wire because, you have Jordan Love. Actually, Jordan Love, we asked this question in the live chat earlier, is Jordan Love droppable? And knowing that he's on the bye week this week, right? I think you probably have to say yes because you're really going to waste a roster spot on him? Probably not. Okay. Now, Lucas says 10-team PPR 4-1. We have Lamar, CMC, Pollard, Pacheco, Brian Robinson, White, Adam Smith, Olave, Nico, JSN, Palmer, Laporta. Just took my first L. Any changes? If we could send Laporta and go get Mark Andrews to have the Lamar and Andrews stack, I think that'd make a lot of sense. But we have CMC, Pollard. We have Devontae Adams, Devonta Smith, Chris Olave. Elite level team, we have upside down there on the bench. The only thing I'd say is if we could send Laporta and go get Andrews for the stack, I would. Eric says we have Allen, Ramondre, JT, Puka, Kupp, Wilson, Waller. On the bench, Ford, Godwin, Higgins, Dobbs, Dell, Edwards. We need a solid RB. JT is going to be good, but I agree. Would really like to go through an upgrade over Ramondre Stevenson if we can. I don't really see anybody that we can get some serious value out of. If you wanted to try to sell Godwin and Ramondre to go get a running back upgrade, good luck. I just don't know if too many people are too excited to go out there and trade for like Godwin at the moment. Jesus says, trade Lamar and Montgomery for DK, Devonta Smith, Jacoby, and Ayuk. So, Lamar to Devonta Smith, up to you. Montgomery versus DK, give me Montgomery. Does Ayuk and Myers bridge the gap? Receivers are Diggs, Hopkins, Wilson, Judy. Running backs are Montgomery, Aaron Jones, Brian Robinson, Sanders. We're 1-4. For 1-4, I'd probably keep the Lamar and Montgomery side, unless you have another great quarterback, right? Like, if you're telling me we have another quarterback in like the Justin Fields range, the Justin Herbert range, then sure, make the deal. But if you're telling me we're going to have to then play CJ Stroud or Stream, probably not. Rusty says, you to go. Appreciate you, my man. 12-team happy BR 2 and 3. We have Allen, Kyler, Pittman, Wilson, Watson, Dell, Deontay, Bijan, Eckler, Gibbs, Pierce, Ford, Herbert, Komet, Jonnu. Any moves? I mean, having Bijan and Eckler is just such a good spot to be in. Getting Eckler back, that's going to be a dominant team. If Kyler is on your active roster, go ahead and cut him for a waiver wire option. If you want to keep him on the IR, that's fine if we can. I mean, I would go through and I would look to see if we can sell one of these depth running backs like Jerome Ford and Cole Kmet and go get a viable tight end if possible. Or Dameon Pierce, Cole Kmet, go get a viable tight end if possible. But, I mean, that's just because we're loaded at receiver and running back. Fred Red says 2 and 3, 12-team BBR. We have Mahomes, Jacobs, Madison, Puka, Cooper, Kelsey, Nico. Then on the bench, Javonte, Najee, Dotson, Rice, Deontay. Any trade recommendations? I don't really see anything from a trade perspective. Love that we have the Mahomes, Kelsey stack. The only thing I'd say is let's keep on being active down there at the bottom of this bench, making overall moves. Like, I think at this point, like John Dotson's probably someone that's safe to go ahead and let go because I don't know what has to happen for us to rely upon him in our starting lineup at this point. So yeah, the only thing I'd say is probably drop Dotson, turn the waiver wire. Henry, always happy to see us, says 2 and 3. We have Herbert, Bijan, Mixon, Ramondre, Montgomery, Warren, AJ, Wilson, Laporta, JSN, Judy, Dobbs. Full BBR double flex are either AJ, Warren, Dobbs for Tyreek or AJ, Mixon, Dobbs for Tyreek Lockett. Any good? Dobbs, I don't care about. AJ Brown and Jalen Warren versus Tyreek Hill. I'm going to do that first deal. With Jalen Warren, he's obviously, I would rank him ahead of Najee Harris at this point, but still he's kind of just a handcuff running back because he's not really someone we're excited to play unless Najee were to go down. I'd say Najee Harris is almost a handcuff running back for Jalen Warren at the same time. So if you could go through and if you could make that swap, I think it would make a lot of sense. Henry said, I'm sorry, Brandon says 2 and 3, happy BR double flex, 10-team league. We have Burrow, JT, Kamara, H.N. Gibbs, Roshan Charbonnet, Jefferson Amonra, AJ Brown, Higgins, Wilson, Judy, Hawkinson. Should we trade JT for Olave or Devontae Adams? Throw in Wilson too to get it done. I would not. I understand with JT, it is frustrating for him to come in his first game, get outplayed by Zach Moss and only play 10 total snaps. But still, at the end of the day, you've rostered him for 5 weeks. To roster him for 5 weeks and then to go sell him at a low point probably doesn't really make any sense, you know? Like JT was just given $42 million. I don't expect they pay JT $42 million to then all of a sudden allow Zach Moss to be the starting guy. It was just this week. Going forward, JT will expand his role. Not too worried. Anthony says, Dynasty PBR trade, Higgins in a future first for Montgomery and Watson. Definitely Higgins in the first, my man. Keep Higgins in the first. Matthew says, 12-team single flex 4 and 1. We have Allen, Ramondre, Kamara, Chase, St. Brown, Jonnu, Puka. And then on the bench, we have Watson, Purdy, Frymuth, Shaheed, Roshan, Edwards. Any trades or waiver wire moves? I mean, if we could go to the Anthony Richardson team and go, hey, man, I'll give you a Brock Purdy and Ramondre Stevenson. All I ask for is a better running back. That would make a lot of sense considering the fact that we have the elite level quarterback ourselves. And we are not really going to be in a spot where we need to worry about what we have. With the second QB. So I think that would make a lot of sense for us to go ahead and see if we can get any value out of Purdy. But obviously much easier said than done. And that would pick up another tight end like Logan Thomas off the waiver wire instead of Jonnu Smith. Now, DBG Menace says, PBR, Kelsey and Kamara for Diggs and Laporta. Kelsey, Diggs, up to you. Kamara, Laporta, up to you. I think a very fair trade. I think that is up to you, my friend. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Iceberg won a bag, says trade Mixon Amari for Henry Devonta Smith. Mixon and Henry upgrade Amari to Devonta Smith. I would honestly go ahead and do this, even if Henry's scary. Mr. Black Barter says, my Christian Watson and Hollywood for Devonta Smith. I'm a Jalen Hurts owner. If it's a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league, then sure. ASU Rockets basketball says, happy birthday, Mason. Over a year watching. Thanks for the advice. Go Flock. Thank you so much, my man. Graydon says, 2 and 3 trade Bijan and Devonta Smith for Jefferson and Olave. Smith to Olave, kind of up to you. Bijan to Jefferson. 2 and 3 roster. Obviously, a lot of this just has to come down to what do we have? What do we have with the Jefferson injury? I don't know how much time he misses, my man. If he only misses 1 week, 2 weeks, he probably want Jefferson. If he misses a month, he probably want Bijan. Mason says, happy birthday, bro. What should we aim for? We're 1 and 4 in a 12-team PBR format. We have Watson, Jacobs, Roschon, Olave, Watson, Andrews, London, Rice, Gus, Akers, Ferguson. I don't really know. I don't think we have enough trade value to go out there and make a move. I'm sorry. I don't think you have enough trade value to go through and get an upgrade in the starting lineup, which is what we need on a 1 and 4 team. All I would say is those guys down there at the bottom end of your team, don't be thinking about their long-term upside. Like Rashee Rice, a good example. Like on a 1 and 4 roster, you probably don't want to be thinking about the long-term upside of someone like Rashee Rice. You'd probably rather be rostering someone down there trying to figure out, okay, what can they give me right now? Now, Chase says, Fields for Ridley. I have Tua. I need your blessing. 10-team non-PPR stacked at running back. We have CMC. Non-PPR format is tougher to go through and trade for Ridley. Our wide receivers are Hill, Monroe, Watson, and Rice. I think we could get a little bit more creative for the Fields trade in a non-PPR format. For a full PPR league, I would do it. Rob coming out says, happy birthday, Mason. Thank you, my man. 14-team full PPR, 4-point passing touchdown. From 0-2 to 3-2. Hell yes. Love to hear it. We have Tua, Stroud, Gibbs, Pacheco, Breida, Charbonnet, Waddle, Puka, DJ Moore, Downs, Addison, Dotson, Jameson, Musgrave. Okay, Musgrave better than I expected this week. 14-team format. The Pacheco breakout is helping us a ton here. If we could sell DJ Moore and maybe get over to a running back in the range of like Tony Pollard, go get like Travis Etienne, I think that would make a lot of sense as well. 14-team format, maybe a little bit easier said than done. We do have enough wide receiver depth, and we also have the Jordan Addison breakout coming up. Really, we just have to see if we can stay alive, right? Full BBR format, see if we can get Gibbs giving us anything at the end of the year, and I think that this team will continue to improve. Steven says 12-team PPR where we have Hurts, Bijan, Montgomery, Lamb, Thielen, Kittle, Dell. And then on the bench, we have Akers, Wilson, Mims, Palmer, Jameson, Michael Wilson, Deontay on the IR. Any moves? We are rostering Lamb, Thielen, Dell, Mims, Palmer, Jameson, Michael Wilson, Deontay Johnson. Running back, we have Bijan, Montgomery, Akers, and Jeff Wilson Jr. We're rostering 8 wide receivers, 2, 4 running backs. The only thing I'd say is we probably want to change the bench construction there to have some more high upside RBs. Batman Gaming says, happy birthday, brother. Thank you so much, my man. Mixon or Jacobs at PBR rest of season. Probably going to go Jacobs, right? I mean, Jacobs going into this week was leading the NFL at the running back position and receiving yards. Has another game where he goes out there and gives you 5 receptions, gives you the rushing touchdown. I mean, the offense looks horrendous, but Jacobs is getting there just based off of pure volume. Like, you're getting legitimately nobody else in this offense at the running back position that is touching the ball. Okay. So now our next question coming out from Noah says, happy birthday, Tajay Spears or Tyler Algier. We're going to go Algier, my man. We have CMC and ETN, so it's more of a bye-week play, potential upside move. Yeah, I think we are going to go Algier. Think about it. Bijan were to go down. Algier, we've seen be a top 10 running back in fantasy. Now, Joe says, in an 8-team at BBR format with 1 flex, we have Allen, Adams, Brown, Jacobs, Williams, Kelsey, Allen. And then on the bench, JT, Brian Robinson, White, Stevenson, Phenomenal team. I think that we are going to be keeping the starting lineup as is probably. And if you had to drop someone, we probably drop Brian Robinson, even if it's tough, but that's the spot you're in an 8-team league. Obviously, we'd rather make a 2-for-1 deal. Okay. Now, Y's coming out. Wire says 12-team PBR, 4-1. We have Kirk, Purdy, Kelsey, Ridley, Watson, Terry. Running back situation's rough. We have Pollard, Moss, Najee, Edwards. What's the best move for me? You're the GOAT. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, my man. I mean, 4-1, we are just thinking long-term here. Obviously, it is tough when you have Moss long-term not being the guy. We don't necessarily have enough wide receiver depth to change anything. I hate to give you this answer. I know it's the most boring answer, but it is the most useful and just realistic answer. A trade's not going to solve your team here. I mean, we just want to be rostering as many running backs as we possibly can. That way we find the next Zach Moss. That way we find the next Kyron Williams. And I'm sorry. I know you're probably looking for a trade suggestion. I don't see one. Rob says, hey, Mason, other team, 14-team full BBR, 4-1. We have Mahomes, Cousins, Jacobs, Sanders, Mostert, Hunt, Jaleel, Hopkins, Thielen, Godwin, Barrios, Ertz, Goddard. Any trade suggestions? Wide receiver is no bueno in this league. 14-team format, though. I like how we're playing in the deep leagues, my man. If we could sell Cousins and maybe like Godwin or I think Hopkins would be a better sell. If we go like Cousins and Hopkins to get a better wide receiver like Devonta Smith and then a worse quarterback in return, I go like Cousins and Hopkins and get back like Devonta Smith and Sam Howell. I think that would make a lot of sense, but outside of that, great team. There's a reason we're 4-1. Michael says, do we trade Miles Sanders for Christian Watson 1-for-1? Very fair deal. I think it depends on your team. Joseph says, I had Romeo Dobbs in a 30-point lead going into tonight versus Jacobs and Myers. Ended up losing. Oh, that is brutal. I would have said that you were the favorite going in. G Chuck says, 12-team non-PBR, 1 quarterback, 1 flex, salary cap keeper league, 3-year max. I'm 0-5. Do I trade Eckler for Breece and Kincaid? So obviously you'd rather have Breece long-term. If you are ready to pack it in and you are ready to punt, you can. I would say typically in a keeper league, I'm going to treat it like a redraft format where I'm not necessarily thinking about long-term too much. However, once you're 0-5, this is about the range where I think it is reasonable. If you wanted to go through and if you wanted to pivot to that long-term approach, you could. Jackson says, have Allen at quarterback, need a flex, Fields for Waddle. I'd be fine with it if you can't get someone better. I'd be fine. Caravan says Thielen for Brock Purdy. Oh, no. If you're going to be trading for a quarterback, you want a better QB. Like, I agree Purdy's an upgrade over those guys, but you could also stream the position there. Anonymous has traded Watson and Warren for Amari. Is this good or bad? And it's up to you. It depends like how shallow your league is and how much you need of the roster spot. Nick says, I got offered Henry, Sutton, Collins for Diggs. Should we do it? I'm struggling at running back. We have Lamar, Sanders, P. Ryan, Akers, Amonra, Amari, and Igby Frymuth, full BBR in a 12-team league. Okay. We either answered this question already or a similar one. It's a 12-team league. Henry slides in over Sanders. We're starting Amonra, Amari, and then I guess Collins. I'm fine with you doing this. I don't love it, but I understand the circumstance that we're in. I see how it does help our roster. Ralph says 8-team PBR format, 1 flex. We have Mahomes, Lawrence, Pierce, Robinson, Barkley, Moss, Stevenson, Moore, Collins, Dobbs, Metcalf, Lockett, Michael Wilson. Look an upgrade for a wide receiver 1 or a running back 1. What are your thoughts? I agree, 8-team league, we would like to do that. If you could go through and send like Lawrence and Brian Robinson and get a better running back, I would love to do it. This is just a bad team in an 8-team league. Just essentially as many 2-for-1 deals as we possibly can make. If you can sell DJ Moore and say Tyler Lockett in an 8-team league and go get CeeDee Lamb, let's do it. But yeah, we need to make a move there. We need to. Red says, happy birthday, Mason. Thank you, my man. I lost by 1. I have Love, Puka, Jefferson, Jacobs, Kamara, Eckler, DJ, DK, Tank, Dell, Komet, Stroud, Dobbs, Jaleel. Who do we start? We're 2 and 3. We're going to be starting, I'm assuming Jefferson misses this week. So we're going to be starting Puka, DJ Moore, Jacobs, Eckler, Kamara in the flex, and then we will have to go to the waiver wire for a quarterback. Actually, no, we'll start Stroud. Never mind. I apologize. We'll start Stroud. Cade says 12-team PPR format. We have Eckler, Lamar, Aaron Jones, Lamb, Evans, Laporta, Judy, London, Charbonnet, Russ, Warren, Dillon, Jameson. Trade ideas to shoot for, plus Eckler only playable running back next week. Any waiver ideas? Now 2 and 3. I think with the waiver wire, we're going to go through. We're going to be cutting these guys like Russ. I mean, what is Russ ever going to do for a Lamar team? In terms of trades, I don't really see any that makes sense. I think you are in a good spot long-term with your roster construction. So yeah, I would say just cut Russ, pick up another running back. And then if you could sell Laporta for Andrews, we would look to do that as well. Now, DB Menace says, don't know how you do this for hours. Happy birthday. Thank you, my man. Love that you wear a blazer, but we can't see your nose 90% of the time. No more CMC touchdowns, please. Thanks. I mean, that's a big ask there. I don't know if that's going to happen. And yeah, I don't know how we do this for hours at a time either. I mean, just like right now, you have no idea how bad my eye is hurting with the light shining directly in it. My contacts dried out. Oh, champagne problems, ladies and gentlemen. If I got any other contact wearers out here, you know, when the fan's going, because it's too hot in the room, I can't turn the fan off. We got a blazer on. A light beaming in my eye, contact dried out. It's getting tough. Now, our next question coming out from CJ says, 10-team full BBR, 3 and 2. We have Herbert, Walker, Swift, AJ Diggs, Ferguson, Tank, and then on the bench, Javonte, Deontay, Jameson, Jaleel, Anthony Richardson. 2 and 3. We need points in the lineup right now. I mean, we have a bomb flex with Tank Dell. So let's go send Anthony Richardson and Tank Dell. Let's go get any viable wide receiver in the short term. Let's go get Chris Godwin. Let's go get Mike Evans so we can stay competitive. I'm sorry, we're 3 and 2, but still looking to do that regardless. Stay competitive right now, and we have Justin Herbert. We're going to start every week regardless. Now, Alex says, who do you start wide receiver 2 in the flex? DJ, DK, Ayuk, and Montgomery. Montgomery has to be your flex, and the wide receiver, probably DJ Moore. We'll get our wide receiver rankings out soon, though, but definitely flex Montgomery. Zachary says, 14-team Dynasty PBR format. We have Cousins, Puka, Metcalf, Swift, Madison, Logan Thomas, Deontay, Curtis Samuel, Schultz, Boyd, and Cook. Any suggestions? This is a team that's not good enough to compete. Unless you have a winning record right now, I think we burn it down. I mean, I'm assuming you have a losing record. I think that you look to sell the short-term assets with production for long-term value in the form of rookie picks. Sell Swift, sell Metcalf, sell Madison, sell Logan Thomas, sell Deontay. Sell these guys that aren't guaranteed to be worth more in next June than they are now, and go see if we can actually get some upside here. Okay. Okay, let me see if I can find this question. Okay, perfect. We can actually swing this back around to the other screen. Now, our next question coming out from Ty says, I'm 1 and 4, the lowest score in a 10-team PBR format. What trades do I need to pursue? It's a double flex 3 wide receiver league. We have Allen, Jefferson, Watson, Dobbs, Pollard, Musgrave, Hollywood, London. So depth is going to matter here at the wide receiver position. We're 1 and 4. We need points in this lineup right now. And we just lost Justin Jefferson. So it's a painful thing to say. It's something that obviously you would never want to do. But this is the setup and this is the situation. I think you are probably in a position where you want to go through and you want to just sell Justin Jefferson, see if we can pivot over and get, like, say, Jamar Chase plus a piece, A.J. Brown plus a piece, Tyreek Hill straight up. Even if it's painful and we're selling a little bit of the long-term upside, we need points in the lineup right now. Now, AV says 12-team standard, 3 wide receiver league, first place, 4-1. Second in points, we have Fields, Chase, Adams, Keenan, Tank Dell, Rice, Breece, HN, White, Stroud. Random bench, any advice? We have great wide receivers at the top. We have wide receivers on the bench with upside. We have running backs we really like. We just need HN to be good. I mean, if HN is healthy and he is fine, you're going to be in a great spot. Like I have said, if we can take one of these depth wide receivers, I mean, we don't know exactly who we have here, but if we can take like either Tank Dell or Rashee Rice, it's going to be harder to do here. But if possible, if we can take them and go through, send them in a package with Justin Fields, get to a top 3 quarterback, to get to Allen, to get to Mahomes, to get to Hurts, that'd be a no-brainer. Now, Blake coming out says, happy birthday, 5-0. Thank you, my man. We have Fields, Richardson, Amari, Davis, Addison, Watson, Judy, Pollard, CMC, Gibbs, Ford, Laporta, Andrews. Any trades and any advice? So when we have Laporta and Andrews, obviously one of these guys will be expendable for us. If we could send, say, like Sam Laporta and Christian Watson, Sam Laporta and Jordan Addison, just Sam Laporta and one of these wide receivers to get a big time upgrade at receiver. You mean so Laporta and Addison and go get CeeDee Lamb, Laporta and Watson and go get Lamb. That'd be an absolute no-brainer. You could also do Andrews, but I think that's going to be one of the main things that we do here. Okay. Now, D. Ollie says, 12-team PPR single flex. We have Lawrence, Cook, Pollard, Hill, Amon-Ra, Goddard, Pierce. And then on the bench, we have Dotson, Gino, Jameson, Roschon, Quentin Johnston. Any trade to upgrade at quarterback. So the thing is, down there on the bench, who would people be excited to trade for? Dotson? No. Dotson is cuttable. Jameson? No. Roschon? Probably not. Quentin Johnston? Not right now. So you can try to go out there and send one of those guys to get to Justin Herbert. I mean, and Trevor Lawrence get to Justin Herbert. In reality, it's probably not going to happen. I think the best shot maybe is going to end up being Trevor Lawrence and Roschon, especially if we can go through and attack like the team that just lost Khalil Herbert. I don't know. Octavio coming out saying 2 and 3 full BBR format. We have Richardson, Gino, Tyreek, Wilson, London, Flowers, Amon-Ra, Nico, Cook, Stevenson, Najee, Madison, Wilson, Keaton. Team scored 75 points. We needed advice. Well, that's what happens when your quarterback goes down. We have Gino going forward. I mean, wide receiver, we are okay. We have the long-term upside. We just need Amon-Ra St. Brown healthy. Ton of wide receiver depth as well. I think we take one of these wide receivers that people are excited about, like Garrett Wilson, and set him with Ramondre Stevenson to see if we can go get a Travis Etienne level player. See if we can go get a Tony Pollard level player. GDF says 4-1, 12-team full BBR format. We have Herbert, Pollard, JT, Kyron, Gibbs, Gibson, Charbonnet, Fournette, Diggs, Lamb, Puka, Hollywood, Elijah Hawkinson. Any tips? Thanks, Fantasy Goat. Appreciate you. I think now is about the time where you can go through and say, let's cut Leonard Fournette. I have him in some best ball teams. I hope he does something. He probably doesn't. But yeah, cut Fournette, pick up another player off the waiver wire. We want to hold on to Gibbs in a keeper format. I mean, wide receiver depth, we don't have too much. We have a quarterback we really like. We have a tight end we really like. Great team. I mean, if we can approach the Burrow team and see if they would overpay for Purdy, that'd be interesting. Red Pilled Gamer coming out says Allen, Smith, Puka, Gabe Davis, Hopkins, Barkley, Cook, Kyron, HN, Waller. Any trade ideas? We're 3-2. We need to consolidate. So, I mean, if this is a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league, we're going to be starting Keenan and Puka. We're going to be starting Barkley and we're probably going to be going Barkley and Kyron or Barkley and James. I agree with you. I definitely think it could benefit this team to consolidate a bit. I think DeAndre Hopkins will be a sell-high candidate for us if you wanted to see if you can send, like, say, DeAndre Hopkins and James Cook to go get either a running back upgrade or a wide receiver upgrade, or maybe like DeAndre Hopkins and Darren Waller to see if we can go get to like TJ Hawkinson or Mark Andrews. I think that could be interesting as well. Okay. Let's move this around. And ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 like away from hitting 1,300 likes on this live stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this stream. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And of course, if you want to check out any of those pick'ems over on Underdog, you can find that link in the live chat in the description in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to get a 100% deposit match up to $100 plus our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, For our birthday, Underdog hooked everybody up with a Justin Herbert special pick of more than less than half a total yard. Doesn't matter if you signed up to Underdog last year with promo Good Flock, 2 years ago with Good Flock, yesterday with Good Flock, today with Good Flock, tomorrow with Good Flock, you will get this. But if you are new to Underdog, you will also get a Patrick Mahomes special pick of more than less than half a total yard. So please make sure you take advantage. Now, Logan says 12-team BBR format, double flex, 3 and 2. We have Fields, Saquon, Montgomery, A.J. Brown, Cooper, Addison, Breece, Ferguson. And then on the bench, we have Purdy, Godwin, Jamison, Tutu, Spears, Johnson, Frymuth. Any trades? Happy birthday. Thank you, my man. I mean, I'm sure you've heard me say this a couple times now, but if we can take a depth wide receiver, if you can go send like, say, Chris Godwin and Justin Fields to get to Allen, Hurts, or Mahomes, I would do that. Outside of that, great team, especially now that we have the Breece breakout, we have the Jefferson injury kind of just making Addison leapfrog on this depth chart. I think you're in a really good spot. Now, Marty coming out with our next question. It says, pick 2 to start, Thielen, Watson, Flowers, or Judy. As we sit now, I probably go Thielen and Flowers, but we will get you our wide receiver rankings in 2 days once we can look into it a little more. Tristan says 12-team, Anthony Richardson, Brian Robinson, Diggs, Addison, Smith, Hawkinson, Eagles, Amari, Prescott, Lockett, Warren, Najee, Bigsby, Ertz. Traded Ertz and Devonta Smith for Pollard and Conklin. Phenomenal deal. Ertz to Conklin, downgrade, but who the hell cares? We have TJ Hawkinson. You don't even need a backup tight end. I'll just cut Tyler Conklin at this point. So we're essentially just trading Devonta Smith for Tony Pollard. I mean, I think Smith will be a buy low candidate, but I mean, yeah, give me the running back that's in, an above average offense or an average offense. We don't really know what it is at this point, but is getting every single touch out of the backfield. Now, Pedro coming out saying 12-team league at BBR, 2 and 3 team. We have Lawrence, Chase, Olave, Etienne, Swift, Laporta, Achane. And then on the bench, we have Wilson, Godwin, JT, Goddard, London, Jameson. Any trades or advice? Happy birthday. Thank you, my man. Trying to think. I don't necessarily see anything that we're doing right now. I mean, it would be interesting to see if we can throw Goddard on the trade block and just see what comes in. You know, just send it in your group chat. Hey, Dallas Goddard on the block. Looking to trade him and Garrett Wilson together for a wide receiver upgrade for that flex spot, especially if Achane's going to miss any time and we have Laporta. But overall, very well-balanced format. I mean, very well-balanced team, and I like it. Keji says, 12 team, 2 and 3. We have Lawrence, CMC, JT, Olave, Waddle, Ferguson, all on the flex. On the bench, we have DJ, Kirk, Sanders. Got offered Diggs for Jonathan Taylor. I like this deal a lot. I mean, I'm going to be telling most people to go out there and buy Jonathan Taylor because I'd assume that he's a lot cheaper than this in the majority of leagues. But yeah, I mean, if you can sell JT for Stephon Diggs, then move Breece Hall into your RB2 slot, then go throw Stephon Diggs in at wide receiver 1. I think it makes a lot of sense. A great team. Blind says 3 and 2, 10 teams start 8, double flex. We have Allen, Smith, Olave, DJ, Kirk, Puka, JSN, Bijan, Javonte, Roshan, Montgomery, Spears, Henry. Any trade ideas? Pitts and Musgrave on the waiver wire. Go drop Hunter Henry for Kyle Pitts immediately if you can. We're going to be holding on to Smith, holding on to Olave. I think there will be buy low wide receivers for us. If you trade DJ Moore for Lamb, then do it. Obviously, in the majority of spots, you won't be able to. And we're starting Bijan Montgomery. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And in a double flex format, we can build around wide receiver a little bit more. Now, Juan coming out says, would you make this trade full BBR, Bijan, Algier, and Judy for Olave, Cook, and Brian Robinson? My team would be Jalen Hurts, Bijan, Pollard, Chase, DK, Hawkinson, and Kamara. So Algier to Cook, you'd rather have Cook. Judy to Brian Robinson, up to you. The thing is, Bijan Robinson is just in a completely different tier of players. I do view Bijan up there as a top 5 overall asset in fantasy. So I do think that, honestly, I would go ahead. I'll take Bijan here, and I'm not going to overthink it too much. Now, Alex says, trade Ingram and Pickens for Laporta. Happy birthday. Thank you, my friend. Honestly, fair, up to you. If we're going to go Evan Ingram and Pickens, I would personally rather have Andrews. I'd rather have Hawkinson. Mark, always happy to see you. Let me make you a moderator, my man. I mean, how are you not a mod already? But pick a running back in a flex. Mostert, James Cook, JT. Ayuk, Myers, Hall. Worried about Hall versus Philly. Just lost Jefferson. Do we trade Myers for Addison? I would. Yes, I'll trade Myers for Addison, regardless of if we add Jefferson. Not too worried about Kelsey. Obviously, we'll get more news later on in the week. I think running back, we're probably going to be going with Mostert. And then for the flex, probably going to be going Breece Hall. Mostert could go out there and just completely crush if you have no Devon Achane. But I think that should be it for this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we've caught up on all the questions. And yeah, we will be live later today as well. I guess it is October 10th. It is my birthday. So since it's my birthday, if you want to get me a gift, I promise you by far and away the best gift you could get me. Go deposit $10 on Underdog Fantasy. Promo code FLOCK. They'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. Plus, you'll get our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings. If you're new to Underdog, you're going to get a Patrick Mahomes special pick 'em more than less than half a total yard for this next week. Doesn't matter if you've been on Underdog for years with code FLOCK or you sign up today with code FLOCK. As long as you use code FLOCK, you're going to get a Justin Herbert special pick 'em as well. Celebrate our birthday. Super happy we're able to get y'all both of those. So make sure you take advantage. But one last question coming out from Bailey says, 10-team BBR 2QB, Jimmy G, Stafford, Goff, Mixon, Kyron, Edwards, Chase, Adams, Diggs, Ingram, Waller. Should I send Goff, Ingram, Kyron? I get Kelsey, Stevenson, Young. Goff to Young, massive downgrade in a 2-quarterback format. Kyron to Stevenson, downgrade. Ingram to Kelsey, big time upgrade. We don't have great quarterbacks as is. I don't love selling our best quarterback. Does seem like a fair price point if you wanted to. And then Kyron or Breece Hall. In our rankings this week, we put Kyron Williams at 10 and Breece Hall at 9. But thank you again. I really do appreciate y'all. Really hope you have a great night and really hope we get to see you out in the live stream tomorrow.